everybody wants to walk, do it now.
Hey, everybody, we're all going to get late.
And again, it's picked off. It's Darius Leonard. A pick six for the Maniac. Touchdown, I-N-D-Y. Yes, sir.
Oh, the chicken. Double time.
Miles Turner.
Yeah.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, it is a Friday. I think this is going to be the last time in a while I'm going to be in studio on a Friday. I could tell you a shout out to those inside the lounge on YouTube Live or Facebook Live. They have come up with the technology. I have been here or out and about, and I've said, hey, we've got to come up with something that shows what we're doing. I guess what's going to happen is you guys are going to watch me sit there and drink. Does that mean I got to change my style a little bit? But I think we're taking the camera out on the road events and setting that up. And you guys will get to see more than just my billboardish face right there the entirety of the time. That begins next week because we will be incredibly busy beginning next week, out and about, and a lot of opportunities for you to come out and you join the show, and that will be fantastic. Shout out to the weather. Today and tomorrow is supposed to be fantastic. We'll probably dip back down again, up and down like usual, but man, it gets you thinking about the good spring temperatures to come. There's no doubt about that. We're talking about a big weekend. I've got some NFL news coming up for you in just a second, so we'll get to knock this thing around in just a smidge, so be ready for that. Meantime, you got IU on the road at Purdue. It's kind of funny. I came in here, and Kyle's in here, and Jimmy's in here, and I said, man, there is just no way. Even with Purdue, and Purdue has had some struggles. Now, certainly not to the level on which we have seen IU struggle, but IU has that initial win over them back in the month of January, but not to the point where IU has struggled, but certainly they have struggled. I can't imagine anybody else that, to me, it's not even so much the level of play is I think IU is going to have a hell of a time dealing with the environment in Mackey Arena in the first place. I think that is going to be the first clear hurdle that they have to get over, and I'm not quite sure that they're even capable of getting over it. Now, I am curious, and I've got my expectations here, and it's not like it's very high. I mean, my expectation is, you look at that loss at home, given the circumstances of IU going to Purdue being beaten by IU the first time they met down in Bloomington, how that went down. Still, what is at stake? Really nothing other than, seeding. I don't know win or lose. Are they seeded the same, the Boilermakers, for the Big Ten Conference tournament? I would have to look that up. But no, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine that Purdue and that crowd coming up tomorrow afternoon is not going to come out and hit this IU team over the head. And I hope it doesn't happen that way. I hope they fight through it just to make it a game of interest, right? But at the same time, I'm not buying it. I am not buying it. I hope it is a game that we can enjoy. I just wouldn't buy it. We'll check the spread maybe before we bail out of here as well. What is it, around 7, 8? What do you think, 7 or 8 in favor of the Boilermakers coming up tomorrow? That would be my guess. I cannot imagine.
Purdue is favored by 6.5.
6.5 going into tomorrow. That seems like that is going to be a lot. And to me, it'd have to be a different IU team that you saw the other night and you've seen most of the year. And Purdue would have to not just fail in moments of the game, but have longer lasting moments of failure that I just simply don't see. I think a lot of you probably agree with me on that. Round number 2 is coming up tomorrow up in West Lafayette. That is something we'll talk about over the course of the afternoon for you as well. Pacers on the road in Detroit coming up later on tonight. We talked to Chris Denary about that and this team yesterday. All right, not a lot of news coming out of the Combine. There's not a great level of interest, and what I guess you're getting right now is the fact that there is no big time 1, 2, or 3 quarterback debate going on. I mean, the biggest story out of this week's been the hand size of Kenny Pickett. At least I have not found a bigger story than the hand size of Kenny Pickett. So that's what you get when you don't have a quarterback or multi-quarterback debates going on about who's better, who's going to be better, who should go higher. I mean, it's just one of those types of years. But I will give you this. A couple of things. And I know I scared folks with this a little bit earlier today when asked. Because somebody asked me who I felt, and I'll get to the rest of this story in just a minute, but who I felt was going to be throwing passes for the Colts next year. And it was kind of half-ass joking and half-ass serious. I said Mitchell Trubisky, and like everybody lost their mind. I don't blame you. Like, I'll sit here and lose my mind too. Because, as I've talked about, that is a lot of maneuvering, a lot of money, a lot of giving away draft picks to find yourself putting all the chips in the center of the table for Mitchell Trubisky. Now, I will tell you this. I've got more than just a couple of folks that say, hey, that would be a lot better than what you have right now. It's not everybody. And the way that you would have to go about getting to that point, I wouldn't be putting that one on my resume. Listen, I know that Chris Ballard's not getting his resume together by any stretch of the imagination, but that is not one that, if that took place, that you would want to put high on the resume. I mean, look at all the work you have to get back to go to this. So it was kind of half-ass joking, half-ass serious. And the reason why it is serious is because you just don't see anything else. And it's not like I'm the only one to say it. I think Field Yates said it yesterday. I think what's-his-nuts, Schefter said it last night at that Sun King thing that Peter King put on for our friends at Teachers Treasures. Shout out to our friends at Teachers Treasures, whom we love at such a great level. Love you, Teachers Treasures. But I think Schefter said it last night. I think Field Yates, and he may have been half-ass saying it too. But, I mean, that's where you get. It's not just me sitting here and quote from some of you yanking stuff out of my butt. Hey, this is a name. That's what you're left with. That is what you are left with. And it is incredible. Maybe sometime soon there'll be something more, but the reaction's interesting. I mean, the reaction has been not overwhelmingly, but certainly more, what? But there have been a few saying, yeah, go ahead and do it. And as I mentioned, there are more than a few that are sold on this is going to be the right move, although I don't know if I would describe it on any level as pushing all your chips in the middle of the table or on the table or around the table. I would not call that Matt Damon flopping the nut straight. Know what I mean? If you want to reference some rounders right here. I don't know how that one works. But now I mentioned that a little bit earlier. You got to be kidding. What? And then some said, that sounds great. A diamond in a rough. Was in Chicago, struggled, is ready to go. Just took a little bit of time. Yeah. But the ways and means in which you end up getting back there and getting to it, that is a lot of work to get there. And until that works, if you do go that direction, and until it works, that is not going to be like one that you're going to put and highlight. You're going to put in like flashing lights on the top of your resume. Hey, this is what we did here. Probably not. At least I wouldn't think so. At any rate, we can hit that. The other news coming from the Combine, this is also from ESPN and ESPN.com. It is this, that the Cowboys are intent on dumping Amari Cooper. And a lot of you have kind of asked about, hey, what do you think about that? And I put it out there. I just said, hey, go ahead and discuss amongst yourselves here. What do you think? So I'm going to tell you what I initially think, like my snap judgment on it, and then I'll tell you what I believe should happen. So here's what I initially think. I initially think that I'd be hard-pressed to believe until I see it done that Chris Ballard gets off the more than just occasionally blue light Kmart special at that position and does something this dramatic. It's hard for me to believe. I'm not suggesting it's not what they should do, and I'll get to that in a moment. But it's hard for me to believe that they would ever think about doing that because that would be so incredibly out of character. So that's my first reaction. All right, so how much is this going to cost? You check the age. He's 27. Check mark there. Oftentimes people, and I think Kyle fell victim to that as well, said, hey, this guy is often injured, but he's maintained a relative level of health, correct? And productivity.
Yeah, he's played, 15 or 16 games ever since he's been in Dallas.
So 27 years old, people said, this is Andre Johnson 2.0. Andre Johnson got here when he was 32?
33.
33 years old. So 5.5, 6 years younger. Maybe 5 or 5.5, let's just say, when the season gets started. So I don't know if I would look at that as Andre Johnson 2.0 just because of that alone. That's a big splash. I mean, in a wide receiver market this offseason that has been pretty ripe, but also with that ripeness, there is somewhat of a rotten stench because you've got, 3 of the top 4 that are coming off of significant injuries or recovering from. Godwin, Gallup, and I think the other one in the top 4, Devontae Adams, I think we all believe. I saw yesterday where the Packers were talking with Aaron Rodgers, so that sounds like Aaron Rodgers is going to be back. If Aaron Rodgers is going to be back, there's one thing with that Devontae Adams is going to be back. So you can go ahead and take him off the board. So there's a lot of things that play into, man, do I have to see this to believe it? But I can tell you this. The other part. Yeah, the quarterback situation. I mean, because you're thinking this guy is probably going to have a number of interesting destination types of ideas, and logically some that currently has a more solidified quarterback situation than this one here, right? Now, granted, when we get further down the road, if and when that happens, if and when they finally figure out what's going on at quarterback here, that will become a little bit more clear. But still, I mean, with Wentz, with nobody, with Trubisky, unless you're waving a magic wand and all of a sudden, there's Russell Wilson, here he is. It doesn't look like there's a great deal of pull as to why Amari Cooper would want to slide in here. And certainly his market value, I mean, he should be popular. You would think he's going to be popular on a market. Trending toward releasing. So, before I even get into my final answer here, that is all, and probably not even all, that is all that we have talked about and thought of could be working against the reason why a guy like this would end up here. And that's a lot. I mean, that is a lot. And that's a lot of logical thinking. That's not a lot of stuff of me, grabbing my rear end and yanking something out of it. I mean, there's a lot working there. But I will tell you this. I think that if you can, there is no doubt that you should. You want to know why? We'll start here. Because they need it. Because they need a guy like that. More than just a compliment to what you have right now. more than just a special team superstar that stepped up and deserved the time and the effort. More than just a guy that catches a touchdown pass and breaks like a pane of glass and is done for most of the season again. More than just a hope. More than just to cross your finger. Hopefully that guy stays healthy. Yeah, I'm not suggesting that Amari Cooper is the second coming of Jerry Rice. But to me, he would be an absolute answer for this place. Again, a lot to overcome, but an absolute answer to this place. And something I have been asking for, and what that would do, that's taking it seriously right there. That's also putting your money where your mouth is. We got to get better at the skill positions. I mean, you're not going to prove that to anybody around here. Again, with all due respect, you're not going to prove that to anybody around here when you're talking about Ashton Dulin. Ashton Dulin has been I love the way Ashton Dulin has worked his way up, but I think we all understand that this would be different. You go from liking what you have to finally realizing that you got to get better specifically at that skill position. This is getting serious about it. This gets serious. 27. When's his birthday? Is he going to be 28, I'm assuming, by the start of the 2022 season? I mean, he falls under the guideline of not yet 30.
He'll be 28 in June.
28 in June. So he'll start the season wherever as a 28-year-old NFL wide receiver. All we ever hear. And again, this goes back to the first part of what I'm bringing you here. We all go back to who knows what the hell is going on here at quarterback right now. I think we all know what is not going to be, but who knows what the future is. But anybody that you talk to, and that's why their expectations, that's why you're always wanting more, and you should, is because they constantly tell you where they are, how good they are, how deep they are, how talented they are. You know, how well they have done to put this thing together, yet the results rarely, if ever, have shown it under this regime. This gets serious about that position. And you could talk about whether they drafted Michael Pittman Jr., they drafted Paris Campbell, both second rounders. They have put a lot of thought in the past couple of years at that position. Now this gets serious. This is a serious play. This is I told you guys what I wanted to do. This is look, we need, this is exactly what that is. Again, not Jerry Rice, not Lynn Swann, but to me, and if you have anything in mind at your quarterback, whatever you're going to do, but I'm talking about specifically the skill position of wide receiver with the Colts. And something I have been arguing forever. I mean, if you could at all turn this into a reality, you'll make me believe a little bit. Now, again, there's a lot working against that. I am not all going to sit here and suggest to you that it's going to happen. But if you can, this would finally prove to me that you're serious about it. You're absolutely serious about it. You understand what it means. You understand the effect that position has. You understand the shortcoming, with Wentz or without Wentz. I mean, there was a shortcoming with Wentz. I mean, it all falls on the shoulders of the quarterback, and certainly is in these set of circumstances. But beyond that, we all know, we've known for a while, that those receivers haven't been there. This is finally getting serious about it. Like with your blueprint and how you build. A couple of years ago in the draft, you trade number 13 overall for DeForest Buckner. Besides drafting number 6 overall when you first get here in Quentin Nelson as a left guard, if that didn't give everybody else out there the appearance that you're serious about being good up the middle, you want to be great up the middle. Yeah, if that didn't convince everybody, certainly what you did with DeForest Buckner has. So convince us. Convince us that you're finally serious. You're not messing around any longer. You understand the gravity of the situation is that you need producers, skill position players at that position. Michael Pittman Jr. needs the help. This, to me, would convince me. Again, I'm not suggesting it's going to happen. I'm not predicting it's going to happen because there is a lot, and I mean a lot, that you would have to go through that you can reasonably sit right there and go, there is no way in hell this is going to happen, and I would absolutely agree with you. But you're going to see a lot of names, and I'm sure you already have. Have they dropped names of interest, team interest at all out there? Who should be interested? I mean, this guy, let's just say it, with the group of wide receivers and knowing what I've told you about the guys that are on top of this list, I mean, automatically, if he is released, he vaults to the top of that list. Then you're getting serious. Then you are getting serious. Can't see it happening, but since you ask, or maybe even more so since I asked you a little bit earlier, yeah, this would be a play. This would be a play that I would be impressed with. Not likely to see it. I mean, think about it. Think about how the there is no way that's going to happen outweighs the, wow, you know what, this really could. I mean, you're all understanding right now that they need something like that. They've needed something like that for a while. But the path to get to it, I mean, it's almost as ridiculous as trying to think about the path that they're going to get to find a starting quarterback for 2022. But that play, to me, would dictate they're serious. Not suggesting it's going to happen, but I would. And we can certainly talk about that at 239-1070. Email address is jmv@1070thefan.com. On Twitter at jmv1070. I just retweeted that if you want to check it out. Facebook Live, you can participate. You can watch. You can listen. You can do the same thing. View what I guess is a chat room that's got a video with it, right? Yeah, we have what we like to call the lounge. It's basically a live chat where I chat with folks while I'm on the air. They respond to others. It is a good time. It's called the lounge via YouTube Live, and you can check that out today. Don Fischer, voice of the Hoosiers, IU and Purdue coming up tomorrow in West Lafayette. We'll talk to the voice of the Hoosiers about that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Mike Wells of ESPN.com will probably laugh at my idea regarding Amari Cooper, but we'll roll with that coming up in the 4 o'clock hour with Mike Wells. And you got a busy Friday night. Probably when you look at the postseason, the one-and-done landscape, boys high school basketball, this is it. Sectional semifinal Friday night is as good really as it gets because you have so many great games, so many great matchups. You got a double dip. Every sectional location around the state. It is awesome with matchups tonight. And it's going to be brought to you by CarX, CarX Tire and Auto, CarX.com for that location nearest you today. Bob Lovell's going to join us coming up at the bottom of the hour. We have a lot to sort out. CJ Gunn is back for Lawrence North. You've got Cathedral and Tech the third time around this season, I believe. Coming off of what took place the last time these two teams met. Man, you got some great matchup. This is just like around here. But I'm talking about the entirety of the state. Sectional semifinal Friday night is always awesome. Bob Lovell is going to join us coming up on the other side, and I have America tickets for you as well. Brown County Music Center coming up June the 17th. You can see America live down there, which will be a fantastic show. I'll give you a chance to win those coming up. Before the end of the show, we shall do that. All right. Meantime, you got the ways and means in which you can watch, you can listen, you got the stream, you got the app, and the FMs, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan. Sit tight. We're just getting started.
Big O Tires is locally owned and operated with the lowest price on every tire every day, plus online appointment scheduling and financing made easy. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Hi, this is Ryan Newman, NASCAR Cup Series driver and champion for a great cause. driven to save lives and organ donation. Look, what I do is dangerous, and nobody's invincible, but we can all do something incredible to save the lives of others. That's why I want you to take a moment and register yourself as an organ donor, like me, at driventosavelives.org. You might just become somebody's real hero.
This ad for Hellsberg Diamonds has been specifically written for those who'd rather think about hockey than engagement rings. You're at a game and your team scores the winning goal just as time runs out. Now, if that game is your proposal and you're running out of time to find the perfect engagement ring, Hellsberg Diamonds is your winning shot. Our combination of quality diamonds, wide selection, and a price match guarantee means you can be confident in your Hellsberg Diamonds engagement ring buzzer beater. Visit your local Hellsberg store and ask about our amazing financing options or check us out at hellsberg.com.
My friend kept complaining about car insurance.
I need affordable insurance to get back on the road. I gotta get to work.
So I played her this song.
1-800-SAVE-AUTO. Pick up the phone, the call is free.
And she was like, play that again.
1-800-SAVE-AUTO.
Safe Auto believes everyone deserves affordable coverage. In just 3 minutes, you can save big with low down payments on state minimum coverage.
This is my jam.
Play it safe, Safe Auto.
Call 1-800-SAFE-AUTO for your quote today.
Your neighbor Mark loves spring in Indy, but he hates to paint. So he called Rhino Shield.
It's a two-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
That's because Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This isn't just a song. It's an anthem for a community of millions that has turned the melody into its mantra. And this May, it's the tune that's calling us to come back together again, to come back to the spectacle, to come.
Back home again in Indiana.
The Indianapolis 500, Sunday, May 29th. Visit IMS.com for more information.
Yeah, that's right. I bet you didn't expect to see me here. Well, here I am. Let me tell you about a little something called respect. You ever heard of it? You know what? I think it's not...
You're good at using your time in the shower to replay conversations and say what you should have said. We're good at your insurance. Find an Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
I think it's time for you to get out of it. You should just leave.
This Saturday, only at Old Navy, get women's Power Soft flares and Power Soft joggers for just $15. And girls' Power Soft leggings are just $12. Hurry, it's this Saturday only at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Valid 3-5 select styles only.
Turn to the experts at Howald Heating and Carrier for all your plumbing needs. Howald Heating, Air, and Plumbing, where you can trust your flush to us.
Realtors don't just send their clients to us, they use us too. Get pre-approved today for your refinance or home purchase at thehomeloanexpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
The Ride with JMV.
Wow. I don't know what to say. I guess the only thing I can say is I'll promise to keep rocking and rolling and making better films.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Mike Wells coming up at the top of the hour. Don Fischer got IU Purdue round 2 up in West Lafayette coming up tomorrow afternoon. Get a lot of feedback from the initial segment. We'll jump on to that coming up in just a minute with you too. America tickets to give away as well. Your calls and more. So go ahead and get in. Anybody worried about, what is it, a 4.62 for David Bell? I mean, I'm sorry. Watching him play in college and not everything translates to the NFL. I'm sorry if I would trust this guy to be really good at the next level. I would trust this guy to look really good. What does 4.62 rank versus noted wide receivers?
I think the only other elite NFL receivers that have a time in the 4.6s are DeAndre Hopkins and Cooper Kupp.
I don't know if I'm going to sit here and tell you I'm going to worry too much about that. Jump back to that coming up in just a second. Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. It maybe is his Christmas Eve, and all those fantastic holidays wrapped up into one Friday night. It's sectional semifinal Friday night for the fellas here in the state of Indiana, and he's got you covered beginning at 9:30 tonight. As far as Network Indiana affiliated stations are concerned, Indiana Sports Talk and our good friend Bob Lovels on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline, brought to you by CarX with the 14 Central Indiana locations. CarX.com to find the one nearest you today. Are you psyched and ready to go for tonight?
Absolutely, John. I really am. It's a fun night. You hit it. It's exactly what it is. It's a little like a late Christmas or early Christmas, however you want to look at it, because you played in a sectional tournament. You played. I played in some. And it's what we are about as Hoosiers when it comes to playing basketball.
Man, you just get you get a double dip in games, so you get 4 sets of fans in one place. It was always great when everybody was settling in for that second game and watching the game before it. And man, it gets to levels of intensity that are pretty awesome. I mean, it really is.
Well, it really does. And as long ago as I played, over 50 years ago, my wife and I talked about this the other day. I can remember it like I was there yesterday. I mean, that's how big a deal it is and was, and for these kids will be. And so there's nothing like semifinal Friday. It is. It's not championship. I understand that, but as you point out, you got twice the amount of games and the same amount of emotion. And so, how do you not get excited about a night like tonight?
It's Bob Lovell, Indiana Sports Talk, has you covered with absolutely everything, and that is coming up later on tonight. Noblesville sectional semifinals got Carmel, Noblesville, Hamilton Southeastern, and Westfield. And Westfield, with a player in particular, has been impressive, has it not?
Braden Smith's pretty good. I mean, he's legit. I mean, they're going to love him in West Lafayette. But they're a pretty good team. They really are. I had not seen that much of them until I saw them in the Hall of Fame and walked away being unbelievably impressed with how good they are and how well put together they are as a team.
All right, North Central sectional. You got Warren and LN. CJ Gunn is back for Lawrence North coming up tonight. And then you got Cathedral and Indianapolis Tech once again, which should be, Bob, fantastic.
Well, you always talk about, when you're talking about the toughest sectionals in the state, that's one that you always talk about. LN has won so much. CJ Gunn gives them a big dimension. Mount Vernon of Fortville has had a fantastic season. Anderson has revived the history of that program all in 1 year. Cathedral's play, you go through each team, there are great storylines. The bottom line of it is those are really, really good basketball teams.
And that's part of sectional semifinal Friday night. I mean, you see some great matchups. Thus, you see a lot of teams go down in either their second or their first matchup. Right. I'm talking about really good teams.
Well, you do, and obviously this perpetuates the discussion about seeding and all of those particular conversations that are out there. But I think that if you look at that sectional, and quite frankly, if you're able to survive that and come out of it, you have a great shot to get to Gainbridge Fieldhouse and play for a championship.
So Bob Lovell has got you covered on Indiana Sports Talk coming up later on tonight. That is a 9:30 get-together for you. What else stands out in some of these games that you figure you're going to be talking about tonight?
Well, I mean, it would be one of those things. With you on the line, I have to talk about your part of the state, sectional number 63, which is one that we always talk about. We talk about it all the time. In terms of how tough it is at Lagodi. I mean, Shoals and North Davies tonight, Bar Reeve and Orleans. Orleans is playing very, very well. And clearly, you have a chance to come out of there. I think in this particular area, there's been a lot of discussion, rightfully so, about section number 10 and how classically loaded it is. It seems to be that way every year. I think the other part of it too, John, is that you know how it is. Upsets are kind of the norms in these kinds of games. You can expect overtime games, teams winning that you might not necessarily have thought that they would, and that's just how it goes on a night like tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about that. You look at it that way, and then you look at, as I mentioned, these natural rivalries that most of the time swing back around, and you get in this type of environment where it's win or you go home. I mean, there's something to that. If there's a night to attend, Bob, it's tonight around the state of Indiana.
I agree in a lot of respects. I agree with you, but the night when they cut down the nest, John, there's nothing better than climbing up on that ladder and walking up there with your teammates and walking out with a piece of that net that you'll have for the rest of your life. That's hard to replace. I mean, it really, really is hard to replace.
No doubt about that. Sectional semifinal Friday night. Bob Lovell's with us talking about it. Thanks to our good friends Joe Childers and the gang at CarX. CarX.com for one of the 14 Central Indiana locations to serve you. And I know that you obviously do their games, and I talked about this yesterday. IUPUI obviously losing in their first game of the Horizon League tournament, but playing with 5 guys, which is something that rarely, if ever, has happened. And that's something. And you got to be very, very proud of the dudes, all 5 of those guys out there being involved in that.
Well, John, I was proud of them when the season started because, before the injuries hit, they already had some numbers issues, but every game that Greg and I did, the thing that stood out in my mind night after night after night is that irrespective of how poorly the season was going record-wise, those guys walked out on the floor every night and gave you every single thing they had. And you and I both know how hard that is. And so I applaud the efforts of those 5 guys, not just from these last couple of weeks, but throughout the season for being quality human beings, being what you're supposed to be as an athlete, playing as hard as you can play. It's hard to find. There were no egos. There were no problems. They went out there and gave you every single thing they had on every possession. And for that, they should be proud. I know they are, and I'm proud to be associated with it.
This time of year is fantastic because I'm listening to you, and then on TV in here, we've got Arch Madness going on. And even though my Sycamores weren't long for Arch Madness, as we saw, this is always fantastic. One of the better conference tournaments would be the Missouri Valley.
You know what? They really do have a good setup. If you think about it from a conference standpoint, having worked in the Horizon League for 7 years, I used to look at them in envy because they have their own built-in cable network called Fox Sports Midwest, which matches the entire footprint of their league. And so they have a great TV exposure. The tournament in St. Louis has embraced it. The hotels, the local eateries, and all of those places, and it brings in a great crowd, and it's got a great name. Everything about it is spectacular, and they're fortunate to have it. They do a fantastic job with it.
Bob Lovell of Indiana Sports Talk, brought to you by 14 Central Indiana CarX locations. CarX.com to find that and the location nearest you. You're set up and ready to go at 9:30 tonight, right?
I absolutely am, John. I'm looking forward to it. And looking forward to a great weekend of basketball tomorrow night, talking about championship winners. And so it's one of those special weekends of the year, and I'm lucky to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, we'll be listening coming up later on tonight. This is a fantastic night to tune into your show, and I know everybody will. And we'll check in next week for the regional play and see what we're talking about then. Bob, I appreciate you.
You're welcome, John. Thanks for having me, as always.
Bob Lovell, Indiana Sports Talk on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Getting good reaction inside the lounge via YouTube Live regarding Amari Cooper. Like I told you, it's not going to happen. But this is the type of swing I would like to see the Colts finally do. Like, I get a lot of he's number 2 and he's going to want too much money, Or I'll give you something even better. If receiver depth in the draft is so good, don't sign Amare when you can get younger and cheaper. My God, we've been down that road how many different times? I'm sick of going down that road. You have money, spend it. You talk about living in the now, live in the now. Now, granted, it doesn't look like they are with the quarterback situation. Again, I grant you that. But as wide receiver goes, stinking take a swing. Take a swing. I mean, is there anything going to be worse than this quarterback situation that's been foobarred? I mean, take a swing. If not Cooper, somebody else. Take a swing. I mean, sitting around and stinking waiting. Are you not tired of it? Can I see a show of hands? Who's sick and tired of sitting around and waiting? I'm sick and tired of it. Yeah, sit down and see who comes out, and yeah, you can wait, and just whatever. You've been waiting too long. Now, yeah, given the quarterback circumstances, I see what you're talking about, but they are talking about living, playing, and producing in the now. And I'm sorry, this wide receiver thing has been neglected for a while. I know they drafted guys. They had one guy over 400 yards receiving last year. One guy. So honestly, the way that you look at it, whether you're talking a number 1, a number 2, or number 3, they all may fit in to this roster somehow, some way. And one guy over 400. That just can't be. We'll come back, talk about that with you a little bit too, and we'll get Mike Wells in on the subject coming up at the top of the hour. I mean, listen, I understand. I do. I understand. Well, you do this, and it could end up being like Andre Johnson. I will say this, 5 years younger than Andre Johnson was when he was brought in here. And whomever's going to be quarterback, give the guy a little bit of help. I mean, give the guy some wide receiving action of help. Give the guy some tight end action that can help. Whoever it is, whoever you decide it should be, it could be, it's going to be. Just give him some help. I don't even care if it's Wentz. Give him some help. But I just don't want to sit around and have to hear about, well, we're drafting and we see the future. I mean, by the time you get to the future with these guys, Jonathan Taylor's going to be in the past. All right, we're back with you guys coming up on the other side at 239-1070. Email address, jmv@1070thefan.com. On Twitter at jmv1070. Thank you for joining us, too, via YouTube Live. Griff and the gang inside the lounge via YouTube Live. Appreciate you. Facebook Live as well. I mentioned Mike Wells, top of the hour. Don Fischer coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Yeah, you've got IU and you've got Purdue coming up tomorrow. I don't know if anything is going to make a ripple on the college basketball landscape pond other than that of the final game at Duke for Mike Krzyzewski. I've always mentioned this before, too. I like Duke. I was in high school when he started, 83. I started liking them in 83, I think. I think when he got that recruiting class. That recruiting class with Dawkins and Allery and Billis and Henderson. And then the next year added Tommy Amaker, that group that made it to the Final Four in 1986 in Dallas. I really liked them. And then it just kind of, there's nothing you got sick of more than that. And it kind of is where it is today. But an amazing career, an iconic career nonetheless. And tomorrow will be, I'm assuming, on ESPN and then some, all about that. Quick break. Back with you next. Don't leave.
We upgraded. Want to upgrade? Our live streams. Find us at 107.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch, conversate, participate, and hang out with us in the new Hubler Studio today.
Switch to Spectrum Mobile and get unlimited data for only $29.99 per month each when you get 2 or more lines. You could save hundreds on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save. Visit SpectrumMobile.com/save. Offer valid for new customers on 2 or more unlimited lines. Spectrum Internet required. Restrictions apply. Visit SpectrumMobile.com for details.
Rattle, rattle, thunder, clatter, boom, boom, boom. Don't worry, call the CarX man.
CarX is the best in brakes, and they'll prove it to you. Right now, a lifetime guarantee comes with a new set of brake pads for just $109.99 per axle. Enjoy the peace of mind that comes with lifetime brake pads at a great price. Installed at just $109.99 per axle at CarX Tire and Auto. The best in brakes.
Don't worry, call the CarX man. 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Pick up the phone, the call is free.
Right now, you're too busy driving around Indiana to talk about insurance. We get it, which is why Safe Auto is available 24/7 to help you save on car insurance whenever you're free. Safe Auto offers state minimum car insurance, flexible payment options, and down payments as low as $15, so you can hit the road for less. Get a quote in under 3 minutes at safeauto.com or call 1-800-SAFE-AUTO.
Play it safe, Safe Auto.
Hi, I'm a jewelry consultant at Shane Company. Visit us and you'll be dazzled by our stylish selection of jewelry you'll enjoy wearing every day. We have lots of styles you can personalize. Just select your favorite gemstone to create a one-of-a-kind necklace or ring. You can choose a radiant ruby or a sapphire. We have over a dozen colors, or a purple amethyst, London blue topaz, or peach morganite. We're known for our vibrant, natural gemstones. Customers love our signature shade of rose gold. It has a soft blush tone. We have all the classics in rose gold: hoop earrings, studs, tennis bracelets, you name it. We also have gorgeous gold chains in a variety of styles, including herringbone chains, paperclip chains, and more. If you want something extraordinary, check out Tom's Finds, our limited edition collections featuring rare gemstones from around the world. Whether you're looking to build your jewelry wardrobe with a classic, or you just want to treat yourself, come in and have some fun.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Are you an HVAC technician, plumber, or sewer and drain specialist? Has your company been swallowed up by a national company? Concerned about becoming a small cog in a large wheel? Searching for a place where you can make a difference and feel appreciated? Then call Vasey Commercial Facility Solutions. They're hiring experienced industrial commercial technicians. Get full benefits and true work-life balance. Call Vasey now at 317-873-2512. 317-873-2512 or go to Vasey.com to learn more.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
When you lose your hair, you lose more than just hair. You lose your confidence. But that doesn't have to happen. Today, there are proven medical solutions to stop hair loss, and in some cases, regrow what you've lost. And now you can get them online at 4hims.com, including the very latest treatment, topical finasteride and minoxidil spray. It combines 2 proven hair loss treatments in the only hair loss spray of its kind, and only 4hims.com has it. No more pills, no more messy, time-consuming applications. Topical finasteride and minoxidil spray is only available by prescription, but at 4hims.com, you can connect with a medical provider online who will, if appropriate, prescribe this new spray and ship it to your home. It's that easy. Get the old hair back. Get the old you back at 4hims.com. For a free online consultation, go to 4hims.com/care. Regrow your hair in 3 to 6 months at forhims.com/care. 4hims.com/care.
You've undoubtedly heard of the calm before the storm. Well, Michaelis is the calm after the storm. More than 3 decades of restoring damage from wind, rain, and hail. They've got your back, not to mention your front, side, and roof. It's why home and business owners beat a path to Michaelis' door, because it's always answered around the clock with welcome arms. Your port in the storm. From site security and tarping services to complete restoration work, they can handle anything Mother Nature throws your way. Seasoned and trustworthy pros who are never deterred by a little wind and rain, or a motherload of it for that matter. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
This Saturday, only at Old Navy, get women's Power Soft flares and Power Soft joggers for just $15. And girls' Power Soft leggings are just $12. Hurry, it's this Saturday only at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Valid 3-5 select styles only.
If you're serious about selling your home, call Mark Dietel and his team today at 317-755-4232 or online markdietel.com. That's markdietel.com today.
Skip the long lines and high costs at the banks and get pre-approved today for your next home purchase or a refinance at thehomeloanexpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
Purdue, Indiana on the weekend. We're going to talk to Don Fischer. Also, I might have a surprise guest for you that you're really going to like. Join me on Monday to find out.
The Ride with JMV.
Let me have a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper, make it fast. I'm in a damn hurry.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Pacers Pistons right here tonight following the last word, 6:30 pregame show. I'm going to go down to Martinsville tonight and watch. I want to get there in time to watch. Shout out to my friend Mick Barron, the owner of Parky's Barbecue up in Lebanon. He was a longtime friend, one of my best friends of all time. I was the best man in his wedding. And he knows where all the bodies are buried when it comes to me. So if you ever go to Parky's, ask him for some free food, but don't bring up me in any of the good stories because he is not allowed to tell you any of them. There's some stuff in there. I know we all have. There's some stuff in there. He knows where they're all buried. But he has a son, Andrew, that hit the game winner against Martinsville on the first round of sectional play on Tuesday night down in Martinsville for Bloomington South. And I'm going to go down to Martinsville right after this game and get there in time for the second one. I believe the first one is, and now I can't remember. It's Bloomington North and Columbus North, maybe? I don't know. The second one's Bloomington South and East Central. I'm going to go down there and watch it. Colts already have Amari Cooper. His name is Michael Pittman Jr. Oh, good. We'll give him 2. All right? Give him 3. I don't care. Give him somebody. It's funny, man. This is what I love. I love when everybody, and I appreciate you, you're getting on my back and you're coming with me about this wide receiver thing. But once... And I'm not suggesting at all. I'm just saying this in the hypothetical because none of this is going to happen, right? I mean, none of this is going to happen. 0. I mean, they don't even have a stinking quarterback. So none of this is going to happen. But a point I'm trying to make regarding wide receiver. I've been talking about this for 4.5 stinking years. And you've been waiting for 4.5 years. Building through the draft for 4.5 years. And it's not worked. It's not gotten better. And just when somebody is brought up, I mean, instead of saying, well, you know what? Add it. He is a skilled wide receiver. I don't care if he's a 2 or a 1 or a 3. They need it. Well, he's going to cost a lot of money. Who knows what he's going to cost? They need it. They need it. I mean, you guys can sit around and wait for somebody to blossom. If you're going to wait for somebody to blossom, let it be Mike Strawn. They drafted that guy last year. He can blossom. But I don't know about you. I'm sick of waiting on this. I would think you would be too. I'm sick of waiting on it. Now, again, as I mentioned, none of this is going to happen because, I mean, hell, they don't even have a quarterback right now. But that's just the point I'm trying to make. You're talking about a 27, going to be a 28-year-old guy that has proven stats in the past, that is getting squeezed out in Dallas, I guess ultimately because of how much money they gave Ezekiel Elliott, right? Is that why? And that's going to happen here one of these days, very soon, right? I mean, something like that's going to happen here with Jonathan Taylor, right? I mean, you're going to have to make a decision Ezekiel Elliott-esque at some point about Jonathan Taylor, right?
Well, when they signed Zeke's contract, they were already crunched for money, so they had to backload it. So next year, his cap hit is $18 million for a running back. And if they cut him, it's $30 million. So he's staying on the team next year.
And let me remind you, none of this is going to happen. But, given the fact there's a little bit of fodder, I'm in the corner of whatever proven wide receiving commodity I believe can make this team better, and not sitting back and waiting because this draft class is loaded. They don't pick until number 47. And if you want to wait on somebody, wait on Mike Strawn, because you're probably going to be waiting again next year too. You're still waiting on Deion Kane. I'm not going to wait. That's just me. Andy's at 239-1070. Andy, jump on board. What's up?
Hey, is this a request line?
It is. What would you like to hear?
Hey, I don't think it's... Give me some Wang Chung.
Everybody have fun tonight. Everybody Wang Chung tonight. Andy, go ahead.
I guess can't see it being 27-7. How that, you got scrub receivers. How you can lay this to his feet. I mean, he didn't drop the punt with Naeem Hines against Tampa Bay, or blew the coverage. I mean, there's enough blame on this whole team to go around, and I don't think getting rid of Carson Wentz is going to be the answer.
Yeah, well, and I know it's tough to look at it right now and find any feasible answer, because after that you got nothing. So I guess everybody is thinking, and this is what I don't know, but everybody is thinking that it goes much, much deeper than that. Listen, Andy, I mean, it has to. For all us logical thinkers out there like me and you and others listening to this show, it has to go deeper than that, because there is no logic. There is not a lot of logic in where this thing is going.
Well, I think the problem that he had was reading defenses, and Frank Reich is excellent at teaching him, so I think we should give him one more year.
Andy, I appreciate that. You got to call tomorrow night and give me that Wang Chung request again, all right?
All right, buddy.
Appreciate you. All right, I get it twice here, and I know you guys probably just joined us. Oftentimes people say, why do you always talk about the same stuff or reset the same stuff? It's because we have people joining the show at various times of this 3-hour period that maybe they didn't hear what I talked about at the beginning of the show. So for those of you that didn't know, I completely am under the impression and understanding that there is no way Amari Cooper would want to come here. And I've told you this before, in situations like this, just about 90% of what we end up talking about is worthless. I mean, if you look at it in the rearview mirror, you go, why were we talking about that? Because it was ridiculous. Zero bearing. So, yes, I know that he wouldn't want to come here. They don't have a quarterback. Why would you want to come here? My point is this. My point is, if he did... My point is, this is the type of guy that would impress me that you take a swing at. This, to me, and other examples player-wise like it, this, to me, is getting serious about the position. Now, apparently now Chris is all serious about the position. Something like this makes it serious. That's just me. Hey, JMV, a few years to develop. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. First of all, Jamar Chase was like, 2 or 3? I mean, you're not getting Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. You don't draft until number 47. And, hey, listen, if Tyreek Hill is out there and you're lucky enough to get it, I mean, you scout that out like Kansas City did and you take the chance, there is no doubt that water turned to wine. And T.Y. Hilton. Listen, I'm not suggesting what you say doesn't make a level of sense. It just doesn't in my world any longer, because I'm sick and tired of hearing about, if you wait. I mean, I am. I mean, you're given these level of expectations, go get them. Finally go get them. Show some results. And in terms of the wide receiver, get serious about the position. For once, utilize some of that cash you have in free agency. Whomever is the quarterback, whether it's Kyle or me or you or Carson Wentz or Sam Ehlinger or Mitchell Trubisky or Fran Tarkington. Give them guys that can actually get open. I'm quite sure, regardless of being 27, 28 years old or being a number 2 wide receiver, I'm quite sure that Cooper can get open. Just a thought. Yeah, Doug Thrasher says DK Metcalf in this draft. Hell, we're waiting on Paris Campbell, too. I just get serious about guys that have a resume. You got one on your roster right now, Mike Strawn, that does it, and he can be that guy that you can wait on and blossom. In the meantime, get somebody that can help you right now, whomever your quarterback might end up being. Mike Wells, you and me, really all of us, hour two's next.
Big O Tires is locally owned and operated with the lowest price on every tire every day, plus online appointment scheduling and financing made easy. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
BetMGM welcomes you with a special offer on the NBA. Simply place a $10 moneyline wager on any game. If either team hits a three-pointer, you'll win $200 in free bets. Just use the bonus code THEFAN200. That's all one word, capital T, capital F, when you make your first bet. Plus, you'll earn BetMGM rewards points that can be redeemed for online bonuses or converted into comps for rooms, restaurants, and more at over 20 MGM resorts nationwide. BetMGM is proud to be an authorized gaming partner of the NBA. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use that bonus code THEFAN200 to win $200 in free bets on your first NBA wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Indiana only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Wealth isn't simply about money. It's more than just the numbers in your portfolio or your bank account. Wealth is all the everyday things that money enables you to do, the goals you're after, things you want to accomplish, and the life you want to lead. So how do you get there? Tune in this weekend for Everyday Wealth with Soledad O'Brien and Gene Chatsky, presented by Edelman Financial Engines. Each week, award-winning journalist Soledad O'Brien and personal finance expert Gene Chatsky will explore how our financial decisions shape our everyday lives. They'll be joined by Edelman Financial Engine's wealth planners and other guests to demystify challenges like tax-efficient investing, retirement planning, and more. They'll share knowledge and tools to manage your finances today and build wealth for tomorrow. Join the conversation. Everyday Wealth airs each weekend and will be available on major podcast platforms. For airtimes, visit everydaywealth.com.
When a health system treats patients with the very best in medical care and compassion, it needs a rare kind of staff. That's why Eskenazi Health never stops looking for professionals who understand that technology is most effective when paired with a genuine human touch. If you are a nurse,
a social worker,
or another professional interested in a career with us, visit eskenazihealth.edu/careers. Eskenazi Health, one of Becker's 150 great places to work in healthcare.
Spring in Indy. And since 2001, Rhino Shield has been covering Indiana homes and businesses. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad, and I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
And Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business owners, you too can get the 25-year protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
They started on the building. They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Join 93.1 WIBC right down the dial for Indiana University basketball as the Hoosiers take on the Purdue Boilermakers Saturday, 1 p.m. for the pregame show.
Go unlimited at Crew Car Wash to wash as much as you want.
Sign up online or at any Crew Car Wash location for unlimited washes and unlimited savings.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
The Pacers head to Detroit to take on the division rival Pistons this evening at 6:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on me, man.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
The Mike Wells Slow Jam re-entry, everybody. Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. Here he is from ESPN.com. Mike Wells.
Amber, don't let our love in. Oh, just make it last.
Look at you keeping time in the background. I hear you.
Ever and ever. Don't let our love in. Oh, here we go. Let me hear you tell me you love me. Let me hear you say you'll never leave me. Live so right.
Hey, Mike, how much land was fertilized while this song was playing back in the day?
Oh, my God, man. Hey, plenty of it. And we know, I fit right on in, sounding like a billy goat, like Keith Sweat in this one right here, boy.
Oh, this is on the wall. If there is an art museum of great all-time slow jams, this Keith Sweat classic is right there, is it not?
Oh, yes. Hey, Make It Last, Twist It, Merry-Go-Round.
Man, this is it right here. January, when is this? April 25th, 1988. Make It Last Forever by Keith Sweat. Yes.
Listen, I hadn't reached puberty yet in 1988. You were out there.
Oh, yeah.
You were out there pursuing a lot of ladies in high school at this point.
Yeah, and I had to go home oftentimes with the fellas in a wheelbarrow, if you know what I mean, especially if I listen to songs like that. Oh, it'd be like that Price is Right when you lose sound effect. That's it. Too bad for you, buddy. Too bad for you. Hey, Mike Wells of ESPN.com joins us. The slow jam re-entry from 1988, Keith Sweat and Make It Last Forever. Mike's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So where's this whole thing going? Any idea on quarterback-wise where this thing is going past Carson Wentz here for 2022?
No. I mean, it's obvious the Colts, meaning Frank Reich and Chris Ballard, they know Carson Wentz is gone. They just can't come out and say it because that loses on the leverage for them outside of flat out releasing him if they want to try to trade him. But everything they said on Tuesday reiterated what they said at the end of the season. Carson Wentz, it'll be more shocking if Carson Wentz is with the Colts next season than if it's not. But I'm baffled on who the hell's going to be the next quarterback.
I said Mitchell Trubisky today. I've kind of jumped on the Mitchell Trubisky bandwagon. Everybody was laughing, and I said, I was kind of half-ass, joking and then half-ass serious because that's kind of where you are right now.
So, is Mitchell Trubisky an upgrade over Carson Wentz?
No. I mean, lateral move at best, right? I mean, it's just such a small sample size if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, for that start in Chicago or, being the backup in Buffalo. But no. I mean, no, it doesn't. And listen, I'm not a big fan of Carson Wentz either, but man, just seems like what else you're looking at right now, it doesn't seem like it is at all reasonable.
How about the Colts just go with Sam Ehlinger next year? Suck it up and then get a quarterback in the first round of the 2022 draft.
They put themselves in a spot where you can't. I mean, there's no sucking, no tanking. There are expectations to be met, and then the clock is firmly ticking on your core guys. That the guys that Chris Ballard went out and got, and they're great. This up the middle plan with your left guard, you're going to pay a hell of a lot of money, and Jonathan Taylor one of these days is going to get it. He's a running back, and we know the lifetime expectancy in the NFL for a running back normally at a high level, and you get Leonard. I mean, now the clock is ticking on this group right right now. You can't do that. If you were going to do that, you needed a second year out of Phillip Rivers. You needed to go out and draft somebody, trade up and try to draft somebody really high. You could go with that particular year. But now that's out the window. You gotta band this thing up and hope that it holds, and maybe you strike a little bit of magic, which honestly we haven't seen around here at that position since, and I don't even know if you look back on it now and say drafting Andrew Luck was that magic, knowing how this thing ended here. So no, nothing.
So if I get this straight, I'm just going to get this straight.
Yeah.
If I were to just basically read between the lines of what you just said,
yeah,
it makes it sound like you saying the Colts are basically screwed for next year unless they
unless they know something we don't, or unless something just unforeseen happens. I don't know how they get out, and it's not like I'm out there all alone without an answer. I mean, you get people that, you go down to the combine and talk to the who's who that covers the NFL, and, they give their reasonable answers just like I just did for Mitchell Trubisky. There's not a lot that makes sense unless they know something that we don't, and I don't know. I don't know if they do. I hope they do, because there's a lot on the line here. I mean, there's certainly going to be a job on the line, if probably not two, but there's going to be one job on the line. There's no doubt about that. So, even with the extensions of a year ago,
and if they go with Mitchell Trubisky, they better just stick with 1 year, 2 years, maybe max. Don't try to give him, anything beyond 2 years, because who knows how the hell it's going to be. I'll tell you. Hey, this is my approach. Say, hey, Sam Ellinger, go ahead and put the spin on it and say Sam Ellinger he's shown that he's capable of being a starting quarterback in the NFL, which we know likely is not the case. And if it doesn't work out and the Colts suck next year, they got an opportunity to have a great draft in 2023 to get another quarterback. I mean, even though I don't know what that quarterback draft class looks like in 2023.
Man, you're going to depress me even further right now. You got to get up off that. I mean, you got to get up off.
Hey,
I don't know.
That's where we're at, though, brother.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the owner at this point, who clearly is, making the top decision on the quarterback and moving on from that after 1 year. It seems to be at some point. I mean, you get a head coach and a general manager in year 5 and year 6, and you've got one playoff win as a result. That's not great. Is that great? That doesn't seem great. Is it great?
I think in the pecking order of wanting Carson Wentz to be no longer with the Colts, I think it goes Jim Irsay at the top, Chris Ballard a distant second, and then Frank Reich completely, miles and miles away from Ballard and thousands of miles away from Jim Irsay as far as get rid of Carson Wentz. Because if Wentz is truly gone, this is a huge indictment on Frank Reich as the head coach and as far as his ability to develop a quarterback. It's more on Reich than anybody else. But Irsay wants Wentz gone more than anybody of those three.
It's funny about this. Mike Wells of ESPN.com joins us, by the way, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. What's funny is I just tried to, and this is honest, and people can tell you that listened in hour one, I tried to put together a compelling piece, segment or two, in my description about how they, in a world in which you had a quarterback, they should go after Amari Cooper. Like, to me, and maybe not Amari Cooper if he's available, but to me, that is what is necessary at the wide receiver. Take a swing of that magnitude. Finally, I want to see them do that, but I sit here and try to make a compelling argument about it, but you can't, because you don't know who's going to be quarterback. I mean, you just can't do it. I mean, at least if Wentz was quarterback, I could try to make a compelling argument of, hey, if he had some help, it would be better, but you can't even do that.
Nope. So basically, that argument during the first hour of the show didn't go very well for you.
No, because all anybody has to say is, why would anybody come here with the quarterback situation? Check. I mean, okay. And then I get my hands up and go, all right, you're right. You're right. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, and I don't know where this thing is going, and hopefully there's a great deal more clarity over there than there is on this side. But I will tell you this, the clarity at wide receiver for 4.5 years that I've been talking about, and finally it's becoming clear to the general manager. He hadn't been on top of that bad boy for 4 years. There's no doubt. I know he's drafted a couple on the second round, but you're talking about stuff that simply hasn't worked. So, maybe we do know as much as they do in some respects on this side of the fence.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to follow that. I get it. No, don't follow that. Don't follow my lead there. But, hey, by the way, I want to get back to on Tuesday when Ballard met with you guys down there. He talked about you having the fangs out. What was the question and the backup question, the follow-up that you asked right there that he described you as having the fangs out?
Well, Kevin Bowen, obviously everybody knows KB, asked about the quarterback spot and what he's looking for. And Ballard says you have to have a quarterback that you can trust. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, holy peep. And so I just pounced on it. I mean, Zach Kiefer was on his way to ask a question. I just completely cut him off, and I asked him, how come he doesn't – what is it about Carson Wentz that you don't trust? And that's when he went into that I had the fangs and I was coming off the top ropes for him. But it was clear when he said you got to have a quarterback you can trust. If they trusted Carson Wentz – You and I would be sitting there singing More Key Sweat and now talking about the quarterback spot 15 minutes into this segment, brother.
Yeah.
If they trusted Carson Wentz.
I thought this is what I thought when he did that. I thought that he was when he said that to you. I thought he was trying to give himself a little bit more time to come up with an answer that worked. You agree?
Hey, well, listen, man. We have to be able to ask that. Supposedly we don't ask tough questions out here, so we got to ask tough questions.
I know.
Every now and then.
You did.
Oh, my
you
goodness.
did. That was right now. Listen,
Yeah.
You guys ask everything that needed to be asked. There's no doubt about that, and that's the thing, because you ask questions that he and Frank don't want to answer or can answer at this point in time. And listen, I'll give it to them. That's hard to do. I mean, because you end up you try to take the most time and say the most while at the same time saying nothing, and that is an art and a skill for guys at that level. It is to try to work around the question that is being asked, maybe keep you around for a minute and a half with an answer or something, and then ultimately say absolutely nothing. Yeah, that's a skill.
Well, and that was Chris Ballard's theme all week. No matter who he was talking to, you try to ask questions. He knows he's not going to answer a question. He's going to talk just to talk to fill the space. And no matter how the question is phrased or how people say, "Oh, we don't ask any good questions," he's going to say what he wants to say.
Yeah, and no doubt about that. What's funny about the entirety of this situation, Mike, and I had Greg tweeted this to me a little bit earlier, and I want to see how accurate you think this is. Imagine trading a first and a third for a guy, paying that guy $22 million in 2021, taking a $15 million cap hit in 2022 when you cut him, then signing a guy who could have been here last year for $3 million. Imagine doing that and still having a job.
Yeah, great. That is a great
imagine.
Point. Or
it's hard to imagine.
Walking into the owner's office, general manager and head coach, and talking to your owner, who clearly is agitated about how screwy this quarterback spot has been for a number of years, and saying, "Hey, here's our sales pitch on Mitchell Trubisky," and I'm the owner saying, "Why the hell should I listen to y'all?" Because look what it got us. It got us a 9-8 record and a quarterback who pissed down his legs in weeks 17 and 18 last season. Why should I listen to you?
Yeah, he's not happy. Mike Chappell has been on here the past couple of weeks and has made the suggestion that it goes much deeper than a lot, certainly, of what we've seen as far as the feeling toward Wentz. Would you agree?
Oh, yes.
I mean, you think it's stuff we'll ever learn, we'll ever know?
Probably after Wentz is gone. But hey, here's the thing that I've come to respect. Remember when he got traded all that stuff was coming out of Philly. He's a bad teammate, not a great leader, blah, blah, blah. And everybody was trying to squash that. New team, same issues.
Yeah, and it's weird, too. I know that the made-for-TV Hard Knocks is more times than not going to go for the fantastic, fun-loving, enjoyable, great story, because that's ultimately how the Colts would like to see it, and they had the final right of refusal as far as what ultimately went on HBO for us all to see. But when you do watch that, and again, it's just a small thumbnail sketch of what goes down, and I get that, but I didn't really get that impression that dude was bad for the locker room during Hard Knocks. Or at least if I did, I didn't talk about it at that time. You?
Well, again, they pick and choose what goes in there, brother.
Seems like, though, if you were that bad, this bad. Because, I mean, you're willing to go, this is bad. To me, I've described where it is right now, and maybe it changes. I've described this situation as a fiasco. This looks like a fiasco right now. We're talking quarterback fiascos, as I think you could describe as such. Right now, it seems like if there is a more deeply rooted reason, that at some point we would see just a little bit of evidence of it. Just a little bit.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you.
Maybe I wasn't looking hard enough. I don't know. But it is. You think this is a fiasco as it stands right now?
Yeah, I think this is a complete embarrassment on the Indianapolis Colts organization. Complete, utter embarrassed. They should be embarrassed from the owner on down about why they're in this situation. Giving up that first and third round pick for Carson Wentz to Philadelphia, and a year later, you're trying to find a new quarterback. Yeah, they should all be embarrassed by it. And once Carson Wentz is released, I want to really hear what they got to say about what happened. Because now they're trying to protect themselves because if for some odd reason they have to bring Carson back, which if I'm Carson Wentz, I'm pissed if they don't release me. The only thing I'm going to be happy about is that I'm going to get my money and everything. But knowing that they cannot commit to me for the 2022 season as soon as the 2021 season ended. So they have fumbled, bumbled, and stumbled along with this whole process, in my opinion.
Do you think that, listen, there shouldn't be any market value for him, because I think everybody out there ultimately knows the end result, at least from a Colts standpoint. So, nobody's going to reach out right now and try to utilize a selection to bring him in, as I'm assuming that through that dialogue you guys got in back-to-back days at the Combine from the head coach and the general manager is what they're kind of looking for right here. But let's just say, hypothetically, he's on the open market as a free agent for anybody to sign, and know that there's more than a couple of teams that are in a lookout for a quarterback. Does he get a sniff again coming up in 2022? If not here, certainly someplace else.
Yeah, as a free agent for a minimum deal. Yeah, as a free agent, somebody can bring him in. But as far as trading for him, if I'm a general manager or head coach, I'm like, you got to clearly, if you're a head coach, you believe you're better than 31 other coaches in the NFL. But I'm like, all right, Frank Reich, great history with this kid. Thought he can get him back on track, and Frank Reich couldn't get him on track as far as, from an inside the locker room and from a production standpoint. Why the hell do I want him? Why the hell would we give up whatever draft pick it's going to be to get Carson Wentz? That made me think he's going to be that guy.
All right. Michael Wendell wanted me to ask you this again because he didn't hear it. He wanted to know what question you asked Ballard at the start of that presser on Tuesday again.
Asked Ballard, and what Kevin Bowen said, you got to have a quarterback you trust and believe in. And I followed up and said, why don't you trust or believe in Carson Wentz? Because if you did, you guys would not be sitting here right now answering questions about the quarterback position. And that's what caused Wentz to go ahead and get rolling off a thing. Ballard to get rolling and, say I was coming in off the top ropes on him.
That's awesome. My man has been pumping some iron, too. You know it? Is he living in the weight room?
Oh, man. Hey, listen, he's got to do something to let his frustrations out. He might as well. He's always sporting some Lululemon and stuff, man. So he might as well go ahead and do that.
I know, and he's rocking. He's the first guy to rock the no undershirt V-neck sweater since Michael Douglas in Basic Instinct.
Oh man, hey Jay, listen, just don't open your legs and give a peek off of that one. All right.
Hey, by the way, too, you guys had a bit of a media scrum, if you will, when he left Ballard on Tuesday. The podium from you guys, and I think you addressed the left tackle and Eric Fischer situation, and from that particular local media, mostly scrum, it sounded to me like that Eric Fischer was going to be the left tackle coming up in 2022 here. That's how it sounded to you?
They're going to give him a hell of a shot to be back. Good luck with that, boy. Good luck with that. Because, I know Fischer was coming back from the torn Achilles and everything, but I didn't see much out of him. I thought he was more on, hovering more around empty than on full in his gas tank as far as production, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just, again, I don't know what options you're going to have, I guess. There are a couple. The dude from New Orleans is a guy that you'd have to pay a heavy price tag for. I just don't know what type of options that you're talking about there, too. But it sounded to me like that they would sit tight with Eric Fischer for another year.
Yeah. Whew. More power to them, boy. They're gonna have some told me they're gonna have a new starting right guard next season.
Yeah. There's no doubt about. Well, and you're not. You got what? If you re-sign Reed, you got Pinter that is there too. Listen, I think that if you wanted to, and we've talked about this before, you could afford to maybe shop a center if you wanted to, if you could find somebody out there that reasonably would want one, because you got some backup guys that clearly we saw, even in the place of left guard Quentin Nelson, who's going to get around $20+ million annually relatively soon. We saw a guy step in and, at least from our eyeballs, didn't really miss a beat.
No. You're 100% correct on that. So, listen, let's let free agency get here and see how the hell they're going to fix is what a flawed roster. They have a couple of very, 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 very good football players, and then they have a significant drop-off. That's the issue the Colts are facing right now.
Yeah, and again, they have what we call skilled level players at positions in which is not necessarily that important to have high skill level players, and then the ones that you need, they don't have, and that creates a huge problem. That's what you're looking at.
Exactly. Hey, what do you think about the new Pacers so far?
Hey, I was going to ask you this too. Why are we all such losers around here? Everybody but Purdue. Why? Everybody's a loser. We're like We're like the Beck song from the mid '90s. Why is that? This is a bad time to be a fan of most things around here, professionally and collegially.
You are 100%. Basically, the only thing we have is Purdue men's basketball and IU women's basketball from a basketball standpoint.
We are a bunch of losers. Why are we a bunch of losers? We don't deserve to be a bunch of losers around here, right? We put in our time, right? We put in our time. We've worked at it. We've grinded. Why don't we see the fruits of our labor from our teams one of these days? What do you think?
No, speaking of fruits of labor, so I'm actually with the field house covering, handling the first 2 rounds of the tournament in 2 weeks. I'm going to cover it for ESPN, so I'm going to be downtown. You got to let me know if you're going to be downtown doing a show anywhere.
Oh man, I will get you so smashed before you have to go in there and cover one of these college basketball Big Ten tournament games. You will be Shakespearean in what you put down on paper for that game. Your bosses at ESPN.com will go, wait a minute. Stuff is great, but this is like next level stuff here.
And if you get me so smashed, you guys are going to really have to have that dump button going, because they might ban me for coming on the air again with so many F-bombs I'm going to drop while talking about sports on the air during that segment.
Don't tell Layla that I'm going to get her dad smashed, though. That'll make her. I don't want her thinking bad about me.
Are you guys playing tomorrow?
Yeah, we're up at Finch tomorrow at around 11, or so finally I can get to go to one. I can get to go and watch all those missile layups in person. I'm excited.
Hey, how's my girl Lainey doing?
Oh, she's doing great. She's doing great. Needs to play better, but she's doing great. I'm just joking, Lainey. No, she's doing great. She is doing great. So
I love it.
We got to make more of the easy ones. I tell you what, though, Mike. It's very important, as you well know, to get a lot of shots on goal. We do that. We do that really well. You just got to start going in at some point. We get a lot of shots on goal.
Hey, I hope Coach Webster hasn't lost his hair from all the missed layups this season.
I took everybody to Culver's last night after practice, and I'm looking to energize the group. It's the first time in like a month I've been there because they've had all these games late, and I haven't been there. So tomorrow I'll be there live and in person to cheat and screw up the clock just like normal. So get ready.
Hey, have y'all been practicing at the barn this season?
We have been practicing recently over in Whiteland. Shout out to Whiteland. So yeah, we've been over there. We had a little scrimmage action last night over in Whiteland, and yeah, we've been there and the SAC at Center Grove, which is this huge field house where they got a lot of things you can practice in there: basketball, track, and all that stuff. So yeah, we've been busy. About 4 times a week, you get them over there and just do a couple things and make a couple layups, and then go to a game and miss all the layups. So yeah.
All right, hey,
but I love them. I always love them the same. Hey, make or miss layup, I will always love them. They are awesome to be around. So, and by the way, You'll be glad to hear this. We're going to get the band back together again for some tournaments coming up. So we'll have to check Layla's schedule. We're going to get Layla and Iz and some of the old school Hot Shots members back for a couple of tournaments. So we got to see what works.
I love it. I love it, brother. I love it. Hey, good luck to the Center Grove girls tomorrow morning up at Finch Creek, making that 5-hour drive from the south side up to off of 69.
It'd be like, but we get the Hot Shots back together. It'd be like getting New Edition back together, just like that.
Ooh, Let's cool it now. Let's cool it now. Oh, we're gonna do more Mr. Telephone Man.
Played that the other night too. I did a larceny bourbon double shot of Candy Girl and Mr. Telephone Man last weekend. It was awesome.
Hey, that's how it's supposed to be. So, hey, brother, you have a good weekend, man, and I'll talk to you next week.
You got it, man. Mike Wells of ESPN.com on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Yeah, I see that NFL Network of David Bell. You see that David Bell shooting basketball on the mini goal right there? You really that worried about a 4.62? Who out there that has watched David Bell over the years worried about a 4.62? I know, different level, NFL. And this is probably going to end up costing him a slot or two. I don't think there's any doubt about that, a round or two maybe. But does anybody out there question that David Bell is not going to be able to produce, be relied upon to catch a pass at the next level? Or does this 4.62, does that make you skeptical?
It's the 4.62, and we talked about Cooper Kupp had that too, but the 3-cone drill, which kind of is a good indicator of shiftiness and able to change direction and get up to speed quickly. He was a 7.14. Cooper Kupp was a 6.75.
Yeah.
Michael Pittman was under 7 at 6.96, so that's another indicator of, I guess DK Metcalf had a poor 3-cone drill, but he ran a 4.33.
Yeah. I think when you just throw it to him and he catches it, I kind of forget about the 3-cone. Is it a 3-cone drill? Or a coney, what is it, a cone?
3-cone drill.
All right. Sugar cone drill. The 3-cone drill. Litz says Bell's going to be fine. He does catch passes. Griff Pope says, considering Kupp ran the same number, don't think it's going to matter much for Bell. I'm not worried about it at all. I think when you throw this is something about the Colts right now. You want the ball to be thrown not just in the catch window, but anywhere near. David Bell's the guy that goes to get it. And David Bell's the guy that runs a nice route. I think I would trust David Bell at the next level working to get there than I would exactly his performances in a couple of these drills. That's just me, though. You guys agree? Me coming up on the other side of the lounge via YouTube Live. We've got people up in there right now. Thank you very much for being a part of that. Facebook Live as well. You can watch, listen, participate to this show. Don Fischer, top of the hour. Lovell and Wells on a podcast at 107.5, thefan.com. A Friday in studio. It's going to be the last Friday in studio for a while. Hopefully at the beginning of next week, I can tell you where you're going, or where I'm going to be, so you can show up out there and hang out with us, because we're going to have some fun times coming up at the end of weeks here in the month of March. Your calls and more at 239-1070 next. Don't leave.
If you're going through a divorce and need to refinance your current home or buy a new one, give us a call or apply online today. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
Hoops are happening, and college basketball's biggest stage is right around the corner over on PropSwap. Every season, prop swappers make thousands of dollars by simply buying and selling college basketball teams. Well, now is the time to find those Cinderellas where the odds are still high. So get to your local sportsbook, buy a handful of tickets, and list them on PropSwap. Remember, only one team needs to make a run, and that ticket will pay for the rest. You can buy and sell tickets over on PropSwap at any point during a game, tournament, season. Dark horses happen every year, so download the free PropSwap app today. Remember, PropSwap is where America buys and sells sports bets. If you're looking for better odds than what your sportsbook is offering, look no further. PropSwap is your answer. There's never been a better time to join. Use promo code FREE100 to receive a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. To find the best odds, join the real sports bettors and download the free PropSwap app today.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, I had to go grab a pail, a bucket. I had to go down to the creek and fill it up and then pour it all over myself in the bathtub. That's the type of water I was dealing with. And then I upgraded to a well. And I always thought, you know what? That was water. Water's water. It's not. And here's the great thing about Connecticut water with Joe, John, and Dennis. They can transform any level of water that you have and make it the best and make it great with the Premier Series water softener, the K5 in-home drinking water station. No more trips to the creek with a bucket. The well water you have right now, fantastic. I mean, even that water you thought was great, and it simply has not been transformed into the absolute best with Connecticut. Talk to Joe, John, and Dennis today at the two locations about getting Connecticut in your home. Northeast Side Castleton, Southside US 31, and Southport Road, the Connecticut Water app. Download that to your smartphone or device today or online. ConnecticutIndy.com.
A direct diamond importer. What does that even mean? And why should you care? Well, if you're looking for a beautiful diamond at the best value, you will care, and you'll want to come to Shane Company. We travel to the diamond capitals of the world to hand-select the prettiest natural diamonds. Because we eliminate all middlemen and their markups, we have the most beautiful diamonds at the best possible value. Since we pay cash up front and buy thousands of diamonds, the stone cutters give us first pick of their best stones at the best price. For 4 generations, we've been directly importing our diamonds from ethical sources, buying only the most beautiful diamonds in each quality grade and passing those savings on to our customers. At Shane Company, you'll always get the best value on the most beautiful diamond. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and Shaneco.com.
You probably get a lot of reminders. How about one for your car insurance? Safe Auto keeps you safe behind the wheel with affordable state minimum coverage and low down payments. Get a free quote for state minimum coverage 24/7 by going to safeauto.com or call 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Within 3 minutes, we can get you a quote to keep you legal on the road for less. Good thing we're here to remind you. Play it safe.
Hey, JMV here. If you're having a problem with that main drain and sewage backing up in your house, hey, let's do something about it. Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing today. They have a great deal for you. 317-284-9526 online. It's ldsmithplumbing.com. It's called 83 or free. So LD Smith Plumbing will come clear that main drain for $83, or the visit is free. Talk to the office. Shout out to Elizabeth in the office for details. Again, call the number 317-284-9526. 83 or free with LD Smith Plumbing. If it's not 83, it's going to be free for you. Get in touch with Lance and his local team today. 317-284-9526. That's LD Smith Plumbing online at ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Whoever said the more the merrier sure wasn't in charge of hiring new employees, because the more unqualified candidates you have for a job, the more difficult your hiring can be. And that can make the process, well, not so merry for you. Thankfully, there's ZipRecruiter, which you can try right now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter's powerful technology finds the right candidates for your job. But unlike other sites, ZipRecruiter goes deeper. ZipRecruiter matches people with people, and you can personally invite your top choices to apply. Because the perfect hire is more than a list of qualifications. It's an individual. ZipRecruiter makes hiring the right person easy, and that'll keep you and everyone else very merry.
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. That's right, free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
This Saturday, only at Old Navy, get women's PowerSoft flares and PowerSoft joggers for just $15. And girls' PowerSoft leggings are just $12. Hurry, it's this Saturday only at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Valid 3-5 select styles only.
Join 93.1 WIBC right down the dial for Indiana University basketball as the Hoosiers take on the Purdue Boilermakers Saturday, 1 p.m. for the pregame show.
Springtime in Indy. The home really took a hit this winter. Rhino Shield. Call 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41. So don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino.
Big O Tires is locally owned and operated with the lowest price on every tire every day, plus online appointment scheduling and financing made easy. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
The Ride with JMV.
Can I buy you guys a drink? Guess not.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Mike Wells of ESPN.com. Bob Lovell, Indiana Sports Talk podcast. Each 107.5thefan.com. Don Fischer, top of the hour. IU, Purdue, and West Lafayette coming at you tomorrow. Beastie Boys, She's On It from Crush Groove, everybody. Crush Groove would be something Mike Wells would know a great deal about, I guess, too. 239-1070 is the number. Email address is jmv@1070thefan.com. Inside the lounge, YouTube Live. Main drain problem is the worst. There is no diggity doubt about that, Ron. No doubt. Call Lance today. Back to a couple of tweets. This is from our good friend Adam Schefter. NFL's contract, I should say, for the Combine here in Indy expires after this year. We know that. The Combine could be held starting next year in Dallas, L.A., or Indy. Decisions to be made soon, according to sources. All right, Dallas, L.A., or Indy, who gets it? Who's going to have the Combine next year, Dallas, L.A., or Indy?
What's your guess?
L.A.
I'm going to go with the Dallas. I think Jerry World.
Dallas, L.A., or Indy. Have you seen the Dallas Cowboys bus rolling around here?
I haven't yet this year. Have you?
It went right in front of me, I think, on Maryland. I think it was on Maryland back early in the week. Dallas, L.A., or here in Indy for one more year. NFL Combine next year. Where's it going? This also from Schefter with wide receivers that are going to maybe be free agents in mind. The Cowboys have been working on a new deal with free agent to be wide receiver Michael Gallup, and a deal is considered close per sources. Hope the two sides can get it done and keep Gallup in Dallas. So that would be another top tier wide receiver off the board if you're keeping track at home. Rex Hampton writes this: Hey, JMV, I'm tuning in late here. Thoughts on Amari Cooper? Here are my thoughts. There's no way in the world he's going to get here because there's just so much in front of it as to the reasons why he's not going to get here. But that is the type of swing I want to see Chris Ballard make in free agency with a wide receiver in mind. Now, the problem you're going to have is Cooper is not yet on the market. It looks like he's going to be at some point relatively soon released. Some of these guys, this market is going to dry up at the top. Devontae Adams isn't going to make it. We'll see about Chris Godwin. Gallup and Godwin, for example, are coming off of injuries. Adams will probably be franchise tagged. No, seriously, I would do it. Like, if we knew of the quarterback situation right here, let's just say, for example, if the philosophy was Carson Wentz is going to be the guy, but you have to surround him with more weapons, better weapons, I'd think about doing that. Yes, right on top of the list. Well, he's a wide receiver too. I don't care. I do not care. One guy that hit the 1,000-yard receiving mark. Nobody else got into the 500s. No, that's the type of swing. That is the type of urgency, the focus that I want to see on that position. So, yes. He's 27, going to be 28 years old. I mean, if this team is about to now, listen, all right, yeah, well, you can draft somebody. It's a deep draft and wait. Wait on Mike Strawn. Swing big right now. Now, that would be me if the quarterback situation, and that question would be answered. But, again, as I remind everybody, not only will that not happen, there's probably not one reason in the world right now that he would, if he's released and is free agent, want to be here. But, yeah, to answer your question, yes. I want them to get serious. Doug's talking to Amari Cooper at 239-1070. Doug, welcome to the show.
How you doing today, Jim?
I am great, Doug.
Hey, talking about Amari Cooper, I just happened to have him last year in my fantasy draft, and watching him through the year, I kind of got the feeling that he had a little bit of the booty hurt syndrome because of Lamb and all of them. Why wouldn't he want to come here knowing that we're looking for a quarterback and he could be the big fish in the small pond?
I just find it hard to believe it's not just that, right? I mean, I get what you're saying. I just think there are more logical teams out there that appear to be certainly more ready-made for what, Doug, you're talking about right now than this team. Like, I think there are probably even more reasons why. Like, I find it hard to believe that Chris Ballard would spend that much money. Like, I'll believe it when he takes that thing in free agency seriously. I'll believe it when I see it. So I've got a non-belief right there. But then you add to it that there are probably other teams that are more ready-made right now than this one is.
No, I agree.
So that's just my thought.
He knows that last year he just seemed completely disinterested, and they're in Dallas. I don't like the way they run their team. You know, if you're somebody that they picked up and it's doing good, they praise you. If not, you're just kind of benched. And he just seemed completely disinterested last year, and I just wouldn't see why, if he could get some money in and knowing they're looking for a quarterback, why he wouldn't look this way.
Doug, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Have a great weekend. I just there are other teams I'm sure if we were to look at it that would be sitting better as far as being more ready-made for what Doug was talking about. And, I mean, when you look at it in Dallas, if you're out there now and, you know, he's coming off an injury and you're certain you're going to not even let Michael Gallup get to free agency, and you have CeeDee Lamb, I mean, it stands to reason where he's going to end up going, but it just seems like, right? I mean, think about this logically for a moment. It doesn't seem like that. I mean, even if there would be interest here, why would he? I mean, you get the quarterback situation. I mean, sure, you want to go someplace and show that you still at 28 years old at the start of the season have something left, but, you know, wouldn't you feel more comfortable in doing that someplace else? The way that this situation looks here right now? That's just a thought. Jonathan's up next at 239-1070. Hello, Jonathan.
Hey, good afternoon. Hello.
I am great. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask real quickly, I'll keep it short and sweet, even though it's not easy to, on Carson Wentz, if the market's not open for a better move, like it becomes a lateral move and we never get a clear explanation, should we all just assume it's mostly about the vaccine, even more than anything? About him not having his shot?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the only thing that I would add to that is, I mean, if you're talking about him as the leader of the team, you had other, huge leaders of this team also not take part in this. And you had a linebacker that missed a game, Nelson didn't too. So that's why I suggest that while because you're the quarterback, it's more magnified, but there has to be other reasons beyond that and beyond the field of play that is going on here. Because, I mean, you could easily tag other well-known team leaders as being in a similar situation as that of Wentz.
So you think, would they just be happy with somebody who got rid of the ball quickly and had a playoff resume like Garoppolo? Is that what they're saying without saying it?
I think it just, to me, what they're saying without saying it is Jim Irsay would be happy with anybody but who was the quarterback last year here. I mean, seriously, yeah. That is the conclusion that I have drawn on this.
Okay. I don't blame you for that. I thought he was more patient than that and less temperamental. But
yeah, I mean, it does seem like that there's a little emotion riding in this decision making process right now. There's no question.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Jonathan, you call anytime. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Quick break and we'll come back. Don Fischer, voice of the Hoosiers, IU, Purdue. Don's at the top of the hour. Stay right here.
If you love listening to our shows, then you've got to follow us on our social media. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Search 1075 The Fan and share your opinions with us on our posts.
Are you feeling the pinch of higher prices?
Costs may be rising, but with Golden Oak Lending's 2.25% fixed rate, you can lower your mortgage payments.
James Hawkins here, president of Golden Oak. You can offset today's high prices by using the low-interest equity in your home to pay off credit cards, make home improvements, or simply put cold hard cash back in your pocket.
It only takes a few minutes to see if you can save hundreds with this low 2.25% rate.
So what are you waiting for? Lock in our low rate while you still can. Start saving money and skip your first 2 mortgage payments.
Call your local loan officers at 317-706-GOLD today and pay nothing out of pocket.
That's right. If we can't close your loan, the appraisal is no charge.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.336% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
John for the Aurora Sleep Clinic. Oh, how I was missing out on quality bed rest. What is going on? Well, I knew the answer to that. I snored. And I mean, I snored, and it was loud. And it was an issue. And I could not find anything that would work. I tried those little nasal strips on top of the nose. And my nose has been like broken a couple of different times, and it's just like weird, and it just pop off. It wasn't working. I tried all these things. And then a couple of former Hoosier basketballers, Brian Evans and Dr. Steve Green, said, hey, at the Aurora Sleep Clinic, we have something that we think will work for you and help you sleep better. And I said, tell me all about it, fellas. And they said, it's a mouthpiece. It's simple and affordable. You wear it at night, and it will stop your snoring. I said, lay it on me. I did, and I now sleep better thanks to Aurora Sleep Clinic. And if you struggle with snoring and that hijacks your bed rest, stopyoursnorenow.com for more information and a consultation today. If it works for me, it can work for you. Stopyoursnorenow.com for that consultation today.
Oh, while we're in lawn and garden, I was thinking I should pick up one of those little things for watering my plants.
A hose?
No, the things that look like teapots, but for plants. You tip it over and it goes blah, 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 blah.
You're good at describing words you've forgotten.
Like those things that give the plants a shower, that you fill up.
A watering can?
Yes, a watering can. I knew that.
We're good at your insurance. Find an Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Of course, she needs a college education, but I don't want her buried in student loans for the rest of her life.
It starts here.
She needs a school with great resources, but some of these campuses are so big.
The School of Health and Human Sciences at IUPUI has the resources of a big university on a campus with a hometown feel. It's a more affordable option with access to career paths in Indy's world-class healthcare and sports entertainment hospitality organizations.
At those big schools, I'm worried she'll just be a number.
Hey, it starts here.
Hey, why not IUPUI?
That's what I was thinking.
Graduates in the fitness management and personal training or physical education teacher program are getting the country in shape at clinics, community centers, nursing homes, and more. Through research projects and internships, they gain knowledge to change lives as personal trainers, health coaches, PE teachers, and fitness directors.
The School of Health and Human Sciences at IUPUI. It starts here. Learn more at shhs.iupui.edu.
BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, unleashes the spirit of Las Vegas with BetMGM rewards. Every time you make a wager at BetMGM, you can earn BetMGM rewards points that you can redeem for online bonus credits like free bets and risk-free tokens. Planning a trip to Vegas? You can also convert your BetMGM points into MGM rewards points that you can use towards dining, shows, and hotel rooms at over 20 MGM Resorts properties located on the Las Vegas Strip and nationwide. BetMGM Rewards is sports betting's premier loyalty program featuring exclusive offers, incredible experiences, and valuable perks when you wager on the BetMGM app. Sign up with BetMGM or log on today to get an even bigger piece of the action with BetMGM Rewards. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Indiana only. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Basements get a bad rap. Probably because so many of them are wet, leaky, and musty. Michaelis is putting an end to the horror show. Their time-tested waterproofing systems eliminate and prevent water issues. Damp and moldy becomes clean and healthy. They have a lot of homeowners enjoying their basements again. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. Mortgage interest rates have started to rise, but at thehomeloanexpert.com, we're still locking loans near historic lows. In fact, according to Mortgage News Daily, our average rate is over a quarter point lower than the national average. The rate you lock in at really does matter. It can have a huge effect on your new monthly payment. Refinancing or buying a home? Why would you go anywhere else? Lower rates available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Monday on Kevin Aquaria, we are recapping everything from a week at the NFL Combine plus Indiana Purdue. The fallout there, and looking ahead to the Big Ten tournament in Indy. Join us 7 a.m. on Monday.
The Ride with JMV.
Collect them, trade them, or just enjoy them.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Lovell Wells. Podcast, 1075thefan.com. Hey, you're of the younger generation. Whatever happened to POD? POD pop in the early 2000s with like two.
2000s, and they just kind of fell off. That whole genre.
Here comes the boom. They were kind of like, were they a Christian rock band? Were they?
I don't think
POD?
They had that song, Here Comes the Boom, and NFL Street. That was one of my favorite NFL video games.
Yeah.
NFL Street.
Yeah, I think for a while the Colts utilized that too because the lyrics in the song say, "Here comes the boys from the South," right? I think they utilized that. Here comes the boys from the South. And I believe that these guys have religious roots in their music. I might be wrong about that. But I always thought Alive by POD was a decent rock song for that particular generation. I want to say this generation, but what was that? 2003? 4? For POD and Alive?
Here Comes the Boom was 2001, so sometime in there, yeah.
So do you consider POD and Saliva and Puddle of Felonies with that jackass that's the lead singer that tried to make out with my wife? Puddle of Felonies. The hell's his name? He didn't try to make you try to kiss her in Kokomo. And then went to the Red Lobster up there and tried to order drinks. They needed his ID and he didn't have it on him. And he showed the waitress his Wikipedia page on his phone. Jackass.
Can we get him on the...
Yeah. Well, you can't get him sober for 5 minutes, so sure as hell probably couldn't get him on here.
Surprise him with that story and then hang up on him.
Yeah, I'm sure that's... Kokomo, Indiana is probably not the only place he's ever tried that, so... Somebody brought this up today, Buck Cherry. I know I got to hit a break here, but Buck Cherry, and this was not the last Final Four. It maybe wasn't the last couple. Was it 2006 when Florida went back-to-back and won it here with that group with Noah?
Versus Oden in Ohio State. Yeah.
But that's when we had like tornadic situations here downtown over that Final Four weekend. And it was really incredibly warm like it will be tomorrow. And then for the rest of the weekend, we had, because it knocked out windows, it did some damage down here. And the rest of the weekend was cold. But I was actually at the other station, I was doing a show in a tent where Disturbed, Everclear, and Buck Cherry were playing. And they were playing at the same time as we were doing the show. I don't know how I heard anything. But I got on the Buck Cherry tour bus. There you go. I got on the Buck Cherry tour bus and then immediately realized that I better get off of the Buck Cherry tour bus because they were all lit up again. I think they may have been on a train with cocaine. I go, okay, I better get out of here. So I better go. Quick break and we'll return. Don Fisher's going to join us next.
Hey, Indy, one big winners in college hoops and the NBA. Catch me, Joe Wiz, host of The Fine Line, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on The Fan.
A while back, we at AmericanEagle.com were asked to build the e-commerce site of a major candy distributor. With the need for a website that could take into account everything from shipping times to local weather, because, candy melts, the task was not like taking candy from a baby. Fortunately, we live for a good digital challenge. And free bonbons. So we got to work on a slew of complex integrations, including a shipping algorithm that factored in variables like distance, speed, and location. The website even let the end customer personalize their candy for special events, like weddings or, major website launches. When all was said and done, our client enjoyed a significant increase in traffic, which we were also well prepared for, and an increase in average order size. A sweet result indeed. For complex e-commerce sites, digital marketing, UX, and more, talk to the experts at AmericanEagle.com. Don't just grow, soar.
O'Reilly. If your vehicle squeals or grinds when you slow down or just isn't stopping like it used to, you may need new brake rotors and pads. Now through May 24th at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get 15% off a set of Brake Best Select or Import Direct brake pads and 2 rotors. Restore safe braking and save money now at O'Reilly Auto Parts or order online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, it's Big Joe with Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert. You know the number, 317-550-1515, or just go to thehomeloanexpert.com. And Ryan, we are well underway with 2022, and the housing market isn't slowing down at all, and that's keeping you extremely busy.
Absolutely. We are working around the clock, pre-approving borrowers. These are folks just like you, watching those same neighborhoods, those same school districts, waiting for the right home to hit the market. And when they do, the offers are coming in. We thought 2021, last year, was a tough year for buying a house. Honestly, I don't think you've seen anything yet. If you're even thinking about it, if you're even like, hey, maybe we should buy a house this year. Maybe it's time to move. We need an extra bedroom. We need more space. We could use a home office, whatever it is. If you're even thinking of buying a home this year, or if you're already in that process of looking, we need to talk. At thehomeloanexpert.com, we can get you pre-approved same day. And we have a 21-day closing guarantee. 21-day closing guarantee. Only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
Every dribble, every pass, and every bucket, all in the palm of your hand. Because now you can sign up and bet. No strings attached with Bet Rivers Sportsbook app featuring award-winning customer service. Live in-game bets, player props, and instant betting bucket to bucket. Don't miss out on all the big games. Get in the action with Bet Rivers Sportsbook app.
Must be 21. Must be located in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-4448.
Hey guys, looking for a reason to spend 3 days on the couch watching basketball? Schedule your vasectomy at Urology of Indiana for a Thursday or Friday, then sit back, relax, and catch some games over the weekend while you recover. It may be the only time your wife approves of hoarding the couch and the remote control. Vasectomies at Urology of Indiana are simple and typically take only about 15 minutes. Soon after, you'll be out the door and on your way home. During your recovery, you'll take ibuprofen and be back to your normal activities in 3 days. The docs at Urology of Indiana are board certified and perform vasectomies every day of the week, all year long. They're pros at what they do. And they have multiple vasectomy clinics, so chances are good there's one close to you. If you've been putting off your vasectomy, now is the time. You'll never have a better excuse to watch basketball. Call Urology of Indiana or visit vasectomyindy.com for information and to schedule an appointment. That's vasectomyindy.com.
Hey, it's JMV. If you're having a problem with that main drain and sewage backing up into your house, got something you can do for that. Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing got a deal for you. 83 or free. LD Smith Plumbing will come clear that main drain for you, and it'll be $83, or the visit is free. Talk to the office for details, 317-284-9526. 83 or free with LD Smith Plumbing. I also want you to keep this in mind in case you have any emergency plumbing situations in your home. 317-284-9526. It's 83 or free with LD Smith Plumbing online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
You probably get a lot of reminders. How about one for your car insurance? Safe Auto keeps you safe behind the wheel with affordable state minimum coverage and low down payments. Get a free quote for state minimum coverage 24/7 by going to safeauto.com or call 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Within 3 minutes, we can get you a quote to keep you legal on the road for less. Good thing we're here to remind you. Play it safe.
Big O Tires is locally owned and operated with the lowest price on every tire every day, plus online appointment scheduling and financing made easy. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Springtime in Indy. The home really took a hit this winter. Rhino Shield. Call 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41. So don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2 W298BB. WIBC HD3 W228CX. Indianapolis.
Soccer Saturday between Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Awesome! Totally awesome! All right, Hamilton.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Bob Lovell a little bit earlier. Mike Wells, both podcasts, 1075thefan.com. This is not America. By the way, that's a David Bowie song, but this is not America. The tickets I'm giving away. This is some yacht rock in the best song of the decade of the 70s. I'm going to lead us in with the late, great Jerry Rafferty in Baker Street with our next guest, because I think we all need to chill out a little bit. And there's nothing better, no greater song to chill out with than this best song of the decade of the 70s, Jerry Rafferty and Baker Street. So for our next guest, the voice of the Hoosiers on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, Don Fischer. This Yacht Rock classic, Don, for your intro, it is for you, for the sake of chilling.
So you're saying this is the best song of the 70s?
It is. Oh, yeah.
How old were you when you listened to the 70s music?
I remember, actually, I was 8 years old when this was popular, 1978. I remember it.
Oh,
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you disagreeing with my selection of the greatest song of the decade of the 70s, Don?
Well, there's probably only about 200 songs.
Wait, 200? Well, okay, before we get into it. See, now I'm getting you, I'm just supposed to be a chilling effect, and I think it's worked opposite. But what is your favorite of the 70s?
Well, my favorite, probably one of my favorite groups of all time, has been the Eagles, of course, and then
Sure.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't go to Earth, Wind, and Fire concerts, you don't know what you're missing.
You don't, and I've been to two, and they're outstanding.
And did you go to the one at the Murai Shrine?
I did not. I went to the one where they and Chicago were together, and at the end of the show, they and Chicago, Philip Bailey got on stage with Chicago, which was awesome, and then they all got on stage together at the end, and it was one of the more awesome live performances, Don, I've ever seen.
Oh, I know. I'm just telling you, Earth, Wind, and Fire back in the day, best ever. I mean, Eagles and Earth, Wind, and Fire, two of my all-time favorite groups. And of course, I grew up in the '60s, So, of course, you could talk about the Beatles, and you could talk about the Beach Boys and all those groups back in the day, too. But I don't know if I've outgrown the 60s, but I don't listen to the 60s like I used to. There's a lot of great songs, and I probably know the words to more 60s songs than I do any other era, but I just don't listen to them as much as I used to.
Yeah, well, Don, with you in mind, all requests Saturday night party on a Friday afternoon. Turn me up over there, Kyle. Little Earth, Wind, and Fire for Don Fischer, everybody. You can't beat Serpentine Fire, voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fischer. You can't beat it.
No. There's nothing. There's all kinds of good stuff they put out. All kinds of good stuff.
That was actually requested last weekend on my Saturday night show. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, I do.
Well, my wife would tell you that my all-time favorite song is September. So.
Oh yeah, well, and that's always great too. I do this thing now when I do the Saturday night thing in the 11 o'clock hour. It's called the Super 70s After 11, and I go all 70s requests for the final hour, 11 until midnight. Yeah,
11 to midnight.
Yeah, and then and you know, it's really bad programming by me because by that time my core audience that really wants to hear the 70s songs have been in bed for like 3 hours.
I was just gonna say you gotta start that around 7 p.m.
I was at 7 a.m. I was gonna say I'm gonna start that about the same time that everybody goes to MCL for dinner at about 4:30.
You know, I haven't been to an MCL forever, but we're gonna go there sometime just because I know everybody else does it in my age group.
I'm gonna tell you, it's still on the south side there, I believe, at like Sumner and 31, and they have the one over in the Speedway Plaza. But man, the one at the Bloomington College Mall back in the day was it.
Oh yeah,
that was the joint back then.
Exactly right.
Yeah, you had to walk that long hall right there, and then come around, and get there. My grandma would go to the one in Speedway and take more home in her purse than she actually ate on her plate.
Well, that is a lot of grandmas now. It's not just yours.
All right, so now we're loose and we're feeling better after what took place on Wednesday night. Before we vault forward and talk about tomorrow, which is huge, there's no doubt about that in that rematch against the Boilermakers. Your thoughts and the disappointment level that obviously you were a part of down in Bloomington on Wednesday night.
Well, the biggest problem, John, and I went back and looked, and I think it's 4 of the last 5 losses that Indiana's had, all were for the same reason. They couldn't hit shots at the end. It was, and honestly, it's boiled down to that, or they made a couple of bad decisions and a turnover here or there, whatever. But it's been more the shooting than it's been anything else in 4 of the last 5 games that they've lost. And honestly, it's got to stop, and I don't know how it does stop. I'm not going to say it because if I do, I'm going to get in trouble. But my point is, if you can't shoot the basketball in the game of basketball, you're not going to win very many games because defense can only take you so far. You still have to put that round thing in the hole, and Indiana just doesn't do it enough. It's that simple.
Yeah, and in big time situations, they just don't have the dude. I mean, and how everything's set up for them. I mean, they had so many opportunities at the very least to get that in overtime, and we have seen teams that have dudes, and we know them. I mean, you're going to be playing one or calling a game with one coming up in West Lafayette tomorrow. Johnny Davis is another. Keegan Murray is another, and on that list is the guy that knocked down that 3 as the game winner the other night. Ron Harper Jr. is right there for Rutgers too.
You're exactly right, and Malachi Branham and E.J. Liddell for Ohio State. I mean, they're both dudes on that team. So, honestly, there are so many good players in this league. There's no question about that, and they're really good clutch guys, and we just talked about them right there. And that's the difference, that Indiana struggled to find that guy in the clutch. Now, they had a clutch guy in one game this year, or at least in the one game that you can remember most, and that would be the game against Purdue in Simon Scott Assembly Hall. And Rob Finney just had a terrific game. He had the game of his career at Indiana. He had 20 points. He didn't hit a shot in the second half. He had all of his points in the first half until he took the last shot of the ball game from Indiana's perspective and knocked it in. And, of course, it ended up being the game winner, or at least giving Indiana the chance to win it outright. So, honestly, right now, that's the biggest issue for this basketball team. And I will say this. Xavier Johnson has played the best basketball he's played this year here in the last couple of weeks. And he's gotten better as the season has progressed, but his best basketball has been here toward the end of the year when it's had to be because Indiana's been so shorthanded from the point guard position. And I give that young man credit because at times this year he's been out of control and made bad decisions and those kinds of things. And then, of course, he's also taken a lot of shots that he had knocked down in 2 or 3 ball games, and that kind of seems to have stopped, which is a really good thing. But
I'm going to tell you, his instigation at the end of that game helped him out a great deal. I mean, and he started some stuff there, and it was helping him out. I mean, he can giveth and he can taketh away.
Yes,
we know
can.
that.
Yes, he can. But here's the thing, John. Indiana's going to go into this game tomorrow against a Purdue team that has just lost 2 straight, and both were really close losses and could have very easily been wins for them. And they are out to prove that that's not going to happen again. And from because they can't win the Big Ten championship, but they're still going to be probably. I think they've guaranteed themselves a spot because of tiebreakers and all that kind of stuff in the second day, bye. So they're going to get the bye, being one of the first 4 teams in the league, but. They're going to be playing to stop this losing skid, gain some momentum going into the NCAA or going into the Big Ten tournament, and to reestablish themselves as the best team in this league, at least from a national perspective, because they've been the highest ranked all season long.
Hey, was there a point, Don, in this season where you thought, and was it that first Purdue game where you thought that was a game changer for IU, into a right, more mature, more consistently playing direction?
Well, I think that's what we were all hoping for. I don't. If you've watched this team play this year and last year and the year before and the last 5-6 years now, you know that this team has struggled shooting the basketball. And in that game, they didn't. I mean, they didn't shoot it great, but they didn't shoot it poorly, and they had one guy that went off, which is a great thing. But you can't go overboard in thinking, well, this is the turning point of the season, even though you might have thought that could have been the turning point, but it would have been hindsight 2020 to figure that out, in fact, if it had been. But my point is, yeah, you got excited about the fact that they beat Purdue for the first time in 9 tries or 10 tries because they had a 9-game winning streak going into that game, Purdue we're speaking of, and the fact that they knocked them off at that point in the year, you really felt good about it, and then, of course, you had the letdown the next ball game out against Michigan. So you got back to earth in a hurry, as we should say.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, if we look back on that, I thought that the Michigan game, ended up getting trounced by 18 at home after being so high on that Thursday night win at Purdue or at home versus Purdue. That probably told us more about that IU team than certainly that win over Purdue did at that moment.
Yep, and that's the sad part. I mean, this team lacks 2 things. It lacks the guy who can absolutely lead them, and it lacks shooting ability, and there's just no question about that. And the best shooters on this team have not been consistent when they have knocked down shots, and that's been the other big problem.
You mentioned, too, having injuries, and it's not like Trey Galloway is going to be inserted in the game and going to knock down outside shots because he's just not. But to have his energy out there, and I think he's a guy that can get the ball where it needs to go more times than certainly not. Now, he does turn the ball over, but he's gotten better over the season. Where is he injury-wise? Because that has been an important aspect here recently as well.
I don't know, and I asked Mike that question before the ball game against who we just played.
It all this runs together. Rutgers.
Rutgers, and I asked him that question before the Rutgers ball game, and he said, "I just don't know." And so that tells me he's not ready, and he's probably not going to be ready until maybe next week sometime, if in fact he's ready then. So that means we won't have him for Saturday. And that hurts this Indiana basketball team, but you could argue he's probably one of the top 3 or 4 players on this ball club in regard to what he's able to do out there in the floor at both ends of the court. And at the same time, his energy and him coming off the bench is such a big spark to this ball club, and it's been missing now for several ball games. And Finney's back, and he's playing again, and I think he's actually played decently when he's been in there. But, he's not a consistent shooter, and he's a really good defensive player, and I hope that Rob has a tremendous game against Purdue for the second straight time this year, but you don't know if you can count on that, and that's such an issue for this basketball team.
So Don Fischer, voice of the Hoosiers, joining us. IU Purdue coming up tomorrow from West Lafayette. 93.1 WIBC has the call. What is that, a 1 o'clock start for you?
Yep, 1 o'clock airtime, 2 o'clock tip. Can't get better than that, John.
Man, it is that is going to be fantastic. I just hope it's a good game. You know, the other thing that stands out is, man, when a team wants to zone IU and they truly pack it in, it seems like it's over.
Well, they certainly didn't play very good against Rutgers. I mean, Rutgers changed the whole game in the second half when they threw the zone at Indiana. And then they switched out of it a few times, but they got back into it. And Indiana's the guys down low, Trace and Race, both neither one was dramatic in the second half of that ball game. And Trace has had games like that before this year. It's a ball club right now, John, that I think is still searching. It's still searching for itself, even though these guys like each other. I think that they play well together for the most part. They play hard at the defensive end of the floor. But at the offensive end, I think they're still searching for a lot of different things.
Searching, indeed. So, and
here's the other thing, John.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. If they don't beat Purdue, their likelihood of getting a bid to the NCAA tournament, I would say, is down to about 2% at best. And that's probably the biggest detriment to this ball club right now.
For a 6th consecutive year?
It would be 6 in a row, yes.
Did you ever think
Nope.
that there would be a run like this?
No, I did not. And there wouldn't have been a run like this if we hadn't had COVID in 2020.
Yeah.
Because Indiana was going to they beat Nebraska in the first game of the NCAA or the Big Ten tournament, I should say. They were going to play Penn State next, and they had Penn State's number at that time. They were going to make the NCAA tournament that year, and unfortunately, COVID shut it all down.
I'm going to tell you, there's so much losing going on around here. That's all I talk about, with the exception of Purdue, is losing.
Well, I know it's not been a good year for the Pacers, and it certainly was a bad ending for the Colts.
That's all we talk about. That's like the biggest loser of the bunch, and they weren't the biggest loser of the bunch. So,
and Butler's had a tough year, and Purdue's been the only team that's had a really good year, and then they've kind of stumbled here in the last couple of ball games. That's why I think tomorrow is going to be a really difficult challenge for this Indiana basketball team, because I think Purdue is going to be, and of course it's also senior day for them. So. Do they have any seniors? I guess they do.
Yeah, Eric Hunter Jr. is a senior.
Although I think both of them could play again next year because of COVID, right? I've given up trying to
know who can play next year and who can. I just consider they can.
Well,
I didn't think so, but I could be wrong about that. I don't know.
I have to go back and look myself just to see.
That's a huge pain in the ass, by the way, to do.
It is. It is a big pain. There's no question about that. And the other thing, I mean, you would think that somebody would be challenging Calvert Chaney at some point here.
Yeah.
For the all-time Big Ten scoring leader. And nobody even talks about it. So obviously nobody's challenging at this point.
Well, I mean, if Brad Davison averages like 10 points a game, he'd probably broke that record last year.
Him or Jordan Bohannon.
No. But I'm telling you what, Fran hasn't been as pinkish and purplish hue lately.
I'll tell you what.
His team is rolling offensively. Both
really
the
are.
women's team there and the men's team.
Yep. And, of course, Indiana's women beat Maryland today for the second time this year and knocked them out of the tournament, I think, for the first time ever since they joined the Big Ten. The first time in 7 years that they have not been in the championship game. And Indiana beat them today, which was a great win for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, there's some winning right there. We're going to lean on that winning, because I was going to say, if you looked at the Missouri Valley, if you looked at Terre Haute and Evansville, you're not going to find any winning there either.
John, you're having a tough year, aren't you?
I'm just a huge loser. Don't even ask me about Eastern Green, although they're in the sectional semifinal. They're going to get beat by about 30 by Linton tonight, but at least they won one game.
Well, you got to be happy about that, right?
I'm not completely 100% a loser, but I'm in the ballpark of in the 100 percentile of losing.
Well, let's put it this way, John. Those of us here in Central Indiana are humbled.
Hey, are you going to any sectional games tonight?
I am not. In fact, I'm trying to figure out what I am going to do tonight because my wife has left me.
Oh, you're going to Hooters like you did a couple of weeks ago.
I see the roll of the eyes if my wife is listening, and she's not. She's actually in Florida. That's why I'm by myself tonight.
Oh, so where do we go when we're out in the town all alone, free and easy on a Friday night with Don Fischer?
There's a big living room upstairs that's got a big TV, and that's what I do at my age.
That's what I do at my age. I don't ever leave. All I do is go to work, play basketball, and then go to Laney games, and that's it.
Yep, and I've got a granddaughter that's playing volleyball right now with a club team, but I don't know where they're playing this weekend. I know they were in Detroit last weekend, so I haven't even paid attention to what their schedule looks like. But if they're around, I might go to that. So I'm going to check it out.
I have to. I go and run the I run the scoreboard, and I sometimes fudge on the fouls for my daughter if necessary. Sometimes the clock doesn't start on time. I just kind of blame my stupidity, which is a valid reason, mind you, but not always the reason.
Well, they're not kicking you out, are they? So
no, they go, well, he's really a huge dumbass, and they kind of give me the benefit of the doubt because of that.
They probably he's new. He's brand new. He hasn't done this before.
Wait, Kyle, what'd you say? Oh, yeah, I did get kicked out once. But that wasn't for keeping the clock. Yeah, this is a long, really bad story again. Really bad. Okay, I'll try to get you the thumbnail sketch version here.
Fire.
This is like 3 years ago. We're over in Brownsburg. My daughter is playing, and the Colts at the same time, the end of their game, and I had my headphones on. I had old school Radio Shack headphones on, and I wasn't even paying attention to the game. And there was a screen set on my daughter. She was 9 at the time, and it flipped her over. Stuff happens, I understand it, but it knocked her tooth out. And when they came back down to floor, I just kind of said, hey, you think we can get this game complete without me going to the emergency room? And the referee turned around and just threw me out. I wasn't even paying attention. And then this gets escalated because I got up and I said, me? And he said, yeah, you get out of here. He said, you go watch the game out in the hall. And I said, all right, I'll be waiting out in the hall because my 9-year-old's here and she can't drive home. So clearly I'll be waiting in the hall. Whereas one of the parents from Brownsburg came out of the stands and got in my grill. And I later found out it was the athletic director at Pike High School, and I've ripped him up and down forever for this. I just haven't in a long time until you brought it up. He got in my face and I'm going to call the police. And I said, I just want to leave, all right? I'm going to go out in the hall and wait on my daughter, and that's it. And it ended. But it was awful. It was terrible. And, if I want to get kicked out like that, at least I should deserve it. I didn't even deserve it.
Right.
I wasn't even paying attention. I just said, hey, and I understand these guys get talked to so badly all the time, and it was the end of the night, and he was probably sick of it, and whatever anybody was going to say was probably going to set him off. But literally, that's what I said. I said, can I get home tonight without having to make a trip to the emergency room?
Oh, John, the funniest throw out of a ball game ever.
Yeah.
Abe Lemons, Oklahoma City. That's when he was coaching at Oklahoma City. You know who Abe Lemons is, right?
I do not.
He was an old-time basketball coach, and I mean, he was there forever.
Okay.
And I was broadcasting for Indiana State back in the early 70s.
Okay.
And anyway, I heard this story. I repeated it many times because I didn't see it happen. But Abe Lemons is really ticked off about a call that's made at one end of the floor, and the first couple of times down the floor after that, I guess he let the official have it a little bit, and the official didn't say anything. And all of a sudden he comes back down the floor, the official comes back down the floor, and Abe is on the ground. He's on his knees, and he's sweeping his hand over the floor, like he's looking for something. And he's out on the floor, literally. He's like 5 feet out on the floor, and he's literally like he's looking for something. And the referee comes over and he says, what are you doing? He says, I'm looking for your contact lenses. Tossed out.
It's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than, certainly nowadays it's more than that. But yeah, in my case, I turned out to be the Pike High School athletic director. I just ripped him a new one all the time here. I mean, a new one. I said, no wonder you guys don't win anything anymore.
So who was it?
I can't remember his name now. But Derek something. I was not happy because I was more embarrassed by it. I'm watching 9-year-old girls play. I don't really care to leave, but I do have to wait for my daughter.
Right.
I didn't want her to ride the bus on the way home or have to get an Uber. So it was stupid and it was embarrassing, and that's my getting kicked out of a game story.
Well,
right there.
We've taken up a half hour of your time. No problem.
I gave the short version right there. So, all right, 2:00 tomorrow, and we'll see what these guys have in them right up at Purdue tomorrow, I guess.
Oh, you better. All right, man.
I appreciate you, Don. All right, Don Fischer, voice of the Hoosiers on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. See, man, you guys suckered me into telling that story again. I was away from it. I can't even remember the dude's name, but man, was he a crank. Just a complete crank. I'm assuming if he was then, he probably still is now. I'm not even paying attention. Not even paying attention. Well, you threatened the official. No, I said I'm going to wait out here because my daughter can't get a ride home on her own. It's funny. Yes, we don't need stories like that. I don't need stories like that because you know me, I want to live as hassle-free as possible, and that added a layer of hassle that I didn't want to mess with. Don Fischer, voice of the Hoosiers, thank you for bringing that up. Shout out to you, Kyle, too, as well, for bringing that up. Podcast 1075thefan.com. Wells, Fisher, Lovell, you can find those conversations there. Me, you, for a final 30 at 239-1070 next.
The Mower Shop in Fishers has all your residential and commercial mowers, outdoor power equipment, parts, products, and service also at themowershop.com and 317-849-9500.
Hey, it's JMV here. Did you know the lack of sleep from snoring can lead to other health issues for both the snorer and the snorer's partner? My friends at Aurora Specialty Sleep Clinic can help you. You can eliminate the need for cumbersome, uncomfortable, and noisy, expensive CPAP machines in some cases, and it does work. Find out how. It may be covered by insurance and Medicare. Get a deeper, more restful, and rejuvenating sleep today. A better night's sleep is just an appointment away. StopYourSnoreNow.com or 317-482-7900.
Sometimes a change of seasons calls for a change of scenery. Well, in St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, you can trade in the heat of a blasting furnace for the healing warmth of the sun. You can trade in gray skies for a beautiful calming blue. You can trade in shoveling sidewalks for biking the Beach Walk Promenade. And you can trade in white snow for 35 miles of pristine white sand. Sounds like you found a winter getaway to immerse all your senses. Start planning your beach escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Indianapolis. At Geico, our employees' careers matter to us.
An inclusive office matters to me.
We hear you, Kelly. Geico has employee resource groups that bring people from all communities together because diversity matters. Your hopes and dreams matter. Even giving you a little space, your lucky bobblehead matters.
Want to work at Geico, Randy? He says yes.
When it comes to your career, what matters to you matters to Geico. We're now hiring claims, sales, and customer service agents. Apply today at careers.geico.com/Indianapolis, and let's get growing.
Hey, Johnny, for Andy Moore Buick GMC 131st at State Road 37. It is in Fishers. Talk to Eric Wilson. I know that E. Wilson is going to be headed to that CG semifinal sectional game coming up later on tonight, just like a lot of you are too. But he is always going to be there for you when it comes to making sure you get the best deal possible. And hassle-free. I mentioned hassle-free a little bit earlier. Hassle-free when it comes to this. The inventory that you're in search for, but not many places have it. Indiana's Best, they do. The inventory, the price tag, the customer service, car buying experience, the best in one place. It's Eric Wilson. Tell him I sent you to Indiana's Best. Andy Moore Buick GMC 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers.
Hi, this is Ted Bishop, PGA General Manager at the Legends Golf Club in Franklin. This year, we are celebrating our 30th anniversary of being in business, and I want to personally invite you to become a member at our course, which was selected as the 2021 Indiana Golf Course of the Year. We are offering a limited number of 2-year Monday through Friday memberships starting at $199 a year. Yep, you heard it right, only $199 a year, and you can upgrade to a 7-day membership for only $50 per year more. If you ride, you just pay for the golf cart, and if you walk, there's no additional charge. These memberships will expire on December 31 of 2023. Legends has 27 Fazio-designed championship holes. Our regular players will tell you that we are known for great playing conditions and a friendly staff. Join the Legends Golf Club today. Don't delay, because limited spots are available. Call 317-736-8186 or buy online at thelegendsgolfclub.com. And I'll see you on the first tee.
BetMGM welcomes you with a special offer on the NBA. Simply place a $10 moneyline wager on any game. If either team hits a three-pointer, you'll win $200 in free bets. Just use the bonus code THEFAN200. That's all one word, capital T, capital F, when you make your first bet. Plus, you'll earn BetMGM rewards points that can be redeemed for online bonuses or converted into comps for rooms, restaurants, and more at over 20 MGM resorts nationwide. BetMGM is proud to be an authorized gaming partner of the NBA. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use that bonus code THEFAN200 to win $200 in free bets on your first NBA wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Indiana only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Michaelis is the calm after the storm. More than 3 decades of restoring damage from wind, rain, and hail. They've got your back, not to mention your front, side, and roof. From site security and tarping services to complete restoration work, they can handle anything Mother Nature throws your way. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-BIG-CINDY. Make it Michaelis.
The Regions Riding Forward Scholarship Contest celebrates stories of inspirational Black Americans. Tell us about a Black American who's inspired you, and you could earn a $3,500 or $5,000 college scholarship. Enter by March 31st, 2022 at regions.com/ridingforward. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Open only to certain high school and college students in states with Regions full-service branches. Complete eligibility requirements, contest details, and official rules available at regions.com/ridingforward. Contest sponsor, Regions Bank. Member FDIC.
Big O Tires is locally owned and operated with the lowest price on every tire every day, plus online appointment scheduling and financing made easy. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
There's never been a better time for a cash-out refinance. Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
The Ride with JMV.
I want you out in front of the school with her. I'd like to have a few words with you, by God.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fischer. A free and easy Friday night for Don. With Susie out of town. What do you think? Is he really going to sit at home in his spacious living room and watch TV, or is he going to go out to Hooters tonight? My bet is in the living room. That's a 1 o'clock pregame show down in, no, I should say in West Lafayette tomorrow. So, yeah, I bet she stays at home. That's always good. Always good. Yeah, you talk about IU coming up tomorrow afternoon. There is so much. I mean, does anybody else find it hard to believe? I mean, there is so much writing against them. Incredible. Think Purdue will zone it up any? They're going to need to? Now, listen, they beat IU. I should say IU beat them the first time out, but Don was right. I mean, Fennessy was just unconscious in knocking down threes, knocking down shots. I mean, you give yourself a chance if you can find somebody that's going to be on for the entirety of the game. But, I mean, let's face it, it has been few and far between. I don't think I would expect it. Ross tells me inside the lounge via YouTube Live the Wabash is up 43-37 at the half in the D3 tournament. Denari mentioned that a couple of days ago. Maybe it was yesterday. Wabash in the D3 tournament up 43-37 at the half. Yeah, zero chance he ends up at PTs. There's no doubt about that, Coop. Hey, JMV, my basketball ejection story is nearly identical. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's tough. I was just embarrassed. And then when you get embarrassed like that, especially for no reason, you get a little pissed. So I was embarrassed and then pissed and then embarrassed again. But I guess it's kind of a funny story now that we're so far away from it. JMV, have you talked about Amari Cooper on the show? Sorry I haven't listened just yet. I have, and I explained to you how it's a complete and utter pipe dream right now, but also gave you the explanation of why I want to see Chris Ballard take a huge swing at somebody like that. Somebody that has credentials, somebody that you can trust. I mean, this is not an Andre Johnson reboot. He was 33. Cooper's going to be 28 at the start of the season. He's not going to be playing here. I mean, you don't even know what you're going to do at quarterback. But I will tell you, this is the type of swing that I want to see them take, because I am sick and tired of sitting around and waiting on guys. Sit around and wait. Draft somebody and wait. Wait. If you want to wait right now, wait for Mike Strawn. But go get somebody that can help this team, whomever is the quarterback. Stat. Pete's at 239-1070. Pete, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
How you doing, John? It's Kroger Pete, baby.
Kroger Pete, how are things going?
It's fine. It's fine.
I love Kroger. Kroger Pete's
Friday,
a good guy.
It's Friday, so I'm not there.
Kroger Pete, I was in there a little bit earlier. So
okay.
I'm in there like 3 times a week. I think some people probably think I live in there.
Yeah. I'm going to have to call my buddy who's now the head coach at Oklahoma City University and tell him that Abe Lemons got mentioned by Don Fischer on Indianapolis radio.
No, it took me by surprise as well. That's classic, though.
No, it's a great story, and this is his first year there. We grew up next to each other in Southern California, and he's had a great career. But he's there now, and I'm thinking, gosh, when I heard him say Abe Lemons, that's where Oklahoma City plays, the Abe Lemons Arena.
Yeah, so he died at the age of 79 back in 2002, but an incredible winning story, 594, 343 in 34 years as a head coach, including at Oklahoma City University, as you mentioned.
Yeah, so just to give him a shout-out, and NAIA players that maybe want to travel, his name's Mark Barakoff. And he is the head coach at, he's rebuilding the program there at Oklahoma City University.
Nicely done, Kroger Pete. Hey, Kroger Pete, can you do something for me? I don't know if you have any control of this whatsoever. We got to restock and replenish the Propel at Kroger.
Yeah, well, that ends up being more of a Gatorade problem than anything.
Now, are we not we're not in the point where that Propel is going to start? Because I need the watermelon flavor Propel, and it is hard to find.
It is, but you better come early.
Yeah, because it's gone quickly, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I have found the Mother Lode. This is a true story. I did last Friday, and I'm going to slide back by there again at the Walmart. What is it? It's a Walmart grocery store that's at. Now I forget. 65 and Keystone. 65 and Keystone on the south side. Yeah. They had a crap ton of it last Friday. Yeah.
No, it all depends. Well, that's the thing. It's not getting thinned out by the Kroger warehouses. See, they're only getting so much and then having to distribute it out. So
I bought like 4 or 5 packages of it. So
okay, there you go. Well, I'm glad you got it,
Kroger Pete.
So if you need me to hang something, I will, or hide something, I will.
Hey, here's what I want you to do, man. Give me a message of some sort when you get some in, and put it in the back, and I'll come in and grab it. Are you allowed to do that, or will that get you in trouble?
I do it for the family, so why not you?
Yeah, why not me? Exactly. So, yeah, let me know when you get it in. Propel watermelon flavor that I love. When you get it in, let me know. Hide it, and I'll come in there and grab it.
All right, I'm at CG all weekend for a swim meet.
Yeah, well, I'm at Finch tomorrow, and I'll probably slide through your place, I'm sure, coming up on Sunday morning at some point.
All right, man. See you.
All right, buddy. That's Kroger Pete right there. I love Kroger, even though I don't think they advertise on here, which drives me nuts. Do they? Do they have any advertising going on here? What's wrong with you, Kroger? Yeah, Kroger Pete, put back a little bit of that Propel watermelon flavor water. Yeah, they got berry and black. Who in the world drinks black cherry flavor? The good? That sounds... Ugh. Berry? I don't like berry either. I don't like kiwi strawberry. I can take the strawberry lemonade mixture. The straight-up lemonade I can't do. I do the grape and the watermelon, baby.
Out of all those flavors you just listed, I think watermelon would be the worst.
Oh, watermelon's awesome. That's why you can't find it anywhere, because everybody else like me knows how awesome that it is. Thank you, Kroger Pete. Freddie's at 239-1070. Freddie, hello.
John, hey, thanks for taking my call.
You got it, buddy.
Hey, quickly, 3 things. Number one, I wish there was a video of you getting thrown out at Brownsburg.
And I'm so surprised there wasn't. I'm glad there wasn't. I was so embarrassed by that.
Subsequently peacocked by the Pike AD, which is even more hilarious.
Hey, listen, right up nose to nose with me. And I was going, I have no idea what you're doing here, nut. So it was crazy.
Balls on this guy.
Yeah, right up in my grill. He was all red-faced. He looked like, like when Fran McCaffrey, gets mad because he doesn't get a call. He looked exactly like that. So I think he threatened to call the police. I said, I haven't even said anything. Who are you going to call? Call him and we'll talk to him. Anyway.
So the 2 other things real quick. Number 2 would be you suck. And number 3, sir, I got to go.
You got it, Freddie. Thank you. Quick break and we'll return for the final time. Yeah, Armstrong says, I like Cooper, but this draft class is loaded. We just need the right one. They've needed the right one for 5 stinking years. They got one right one. And they got some good guys. But get more than good guys. Get somebody you can stinking count on. Somebody that we're not waiting for. I don't think it's wrong to suggest that we should all be a little bit impatient moving forward. Now then, as I talk about this, I remember that they will not have a quarterback as of whenever. So it's all very silly. But in terms of wide receiver, swing for the fences. I mean, if it all is ready to happen, if your chips are in the middle of the table or any of this cliche-ridden stuff, hey, go for it. I mean, go for it. Go for it. I mean, what you have done so far, it hasn't worked. The results aren't there. You can make a myriad of excuses about it and make sure everybody nationally says, yeah, top 3 general manager, top 5 head coach. Listen, the results do not identify with those stats. Get the results. Listen to me for once. For once. Don't listen to me for anything else. Listen to this. And again, it's not going to be Amari Cooper. There's no expectation there. I'm just saying this is the level in which I want to see them go at. Because, look, this market's going to dry up. We see Michael Gallup's already going to get re-signed by Dallas. That's the reason why, or one, along with that contract of Ezekiel Elliott, one of the reasons why Cooper's going to be punted. You get a guy like that in this particular free agency class out there, that position. Yeah, I mean, if you had your stuff together, which I don't think they do right now, it would sound good. But that's the level in which I would like to see them take a swing. All right, quick break. We'll come back for a final time with you next.
We upgraded. Want to we upgrade? Our live streams. Find us at 107.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch, conversate, participate, and hang out with us in the new Hubler Studio today.
Every dribble, every pass, and every bucket, all in the palm of your hand. Because now you can sign up and bet. No strings attached with BetRivers Sportsbook app featuring award-winning customer service. Live in-game bets, player props, and instant betting bucket to bucket. Don't miss out on all the big games. Get in the action with BetRivers Sportsbook app.
Must be 21. Must be located in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-4448.
Ready to save more on your mobile bill? With Spectrum Mobile, get unlimited data and nationwide 5G for just $29.99 per month when you get 2 or more lines. All with no contracts, added taxes, or hidden fees. And now for a limited time, you can save up to $300 on the new Samsung Galaxy S22 series. This is the epic new smartphone you've been waiting for. Visit SpectrumMobile.com today for details. Offer valid for new customers on 2 or more unlimited lines. Spectrum Internet required. Subject to change. Visit SpectrumMobile.com for offer details.
Is it my favorite song? I don't know.
Oh, it definitely is.
Well, it's at the top of my playlist.
1-800-SAVE-AUTO.
It's my morning alarm.
Every morning.
I like this jingle. I mean, in just 3 minutes, you can get a low down payment on state minimum coverage, so you can get back on the road. What's not to love? Sorry, hold on. Hello?
It's even her ringtone.
Play it safe, Safe Auto. Call 1-800-SAVE-AUTO for your quote today.
Message to Amy Spin Class. Happy 3rd, 29th birthday, Amy! Exclamation point. Ha ha. Balloon emoji. Balloon emoji. Balloon emoji.
You're good at voice to text.
Pizza emoji.
We're good at your insurance. Find an Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent online, over the phone, or in person. And stop knocking on wood.
Whoever said the more the merrier sure wasn't in charge of hiring new employees, because the more unqualified candidates you have for a job, the more difficult your hiring can be. And that can make the process, well, not so merry for you. Thankfully, there's ZipRecruiter, which you can try right now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter's powerful technology finds the right candidates for your job. But unlike other sites, ZipRecruiter goes deeper. ZipRecruiter matches people with people, and you can personally invite your top choices to apply. Because the perfect hire is more than a list of qualifications. It's an individual. ZipRecruiter makes hiring the right person easy, and that'll keep you and everyone else very merry.
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. That's right, free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
This is Ryan Newman for Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives. When I'm not racing around at 200 miles an hour, I like to take things a little slower. But even here at the lake, I'm still driven to save lives. So if you're like me and you enjoy fishing or hunting, say yes to being an organ donor when you get your license online or when you renew your driver's license. Learn more and sign up today to be an organ donor at donatelifeindiana.org.
When our Shane Company diamond buyers travel overseas to examine diamonds, they have everything they need to select the most beautiful stones. In-depth knowledge, experience, natural light, and an eye for beauty. When you shop with us, we want you to also have everything you'll need to select your diamond. That's why we sell our diamonds loose. We were the first jeweler in America to sell loose stones. To choose a diamond, ruby, or sapphire like an expert, you need to see the entire stone, to look at it from every angle before it's set into your jewelry. Our jewelry consultants provide everything you need to properly evaluate a stone, the tools, the correct lighting, and the knowledge. You'll compare loose stones side by side, like our diamond experts do. It's the only way you'll be sure to choose the perfect diamond for you. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Mortgage interest rates have started to rise, but at thehomeloanexpert.com, we're still locking loans near historic lows. Thehomeloanexpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
Indiana High School Basketball State Tournament number 1.
Harris has the ball. For the win.
That is the Michigan State recruit Gary Harris, who banks it in, gives Hamilton Southeastern the win.
That sounds like Steve Levy on SportsCenter with a top 10 back in 2012. Friend of the show, Gary Harris. Shout out to Gary Harris Sr. and the lovely Joy. That's Gary Harris of Hamilton Southeastern, 2012 sectional. Half-court buzzer beater to beat North Central 86-83. By the way, on the call, you couldn't really tell there. That's Rakestraw and Jan Bozier as a part of that SportsCenter Top 10 back in 2012. Yeah, we all know about Gary Harris. Went on to Michigan State and the NBA with the Orlando Magic right now. 22 versus the Pacers back on the 2nd of February at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. 6 of 11 3-point shooting. Gary Harris today. By the way, sectional semifinal Friday night is a must-see. Find a spot tonight and go check it out. I am going to Martinsville, and I'm going to check out Game 2 between Bloomington South and East Central. Shout out to Andrew Barron of the Bloomington South Panthers tonight, coming off the bench in that sectional semifinal. I guarantee there's one near you. It's spectacular. A great night of basketball around the state of Indiana. Very easy for you to find a location and tickets. Log on to find that for yourself. Location, schedules, and more. IHSAA.org today.
Purdue, Indiana on the weekend. We're going to talk to Don Fischer. Also, I might have a surprise guest for you that you're really going to like. Join me on Monday to find out.
The Ride with JMV.
It's Jim Perry. Now talk to him, damn it.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I'm assuming a lot of you are on the way. Sectional semifinal round game number 1's tonight. I couldn't see. If you are, drive safely, enjoy it. I mentioned I'm going to go to Martinsville tonight to watch. I'll get there in time for Game 2 with Bloomington South and East Central. And then it looks like, because Blake Thomas will want to go to Wings Etc. afterwards, if you guys want to, if you're in Martinsville tonight and you want to come party at Wings Etc., I think that's what we'll be doing. We always have to go to Wings Etc. while in Martinsville. But wherever you are going, enjoy it. And by the way, number 9 right now at 239-1070, America is coming to the Brown County Music Center. That is coming up on June the 17th. Number 9 at 239-1070 is going to go a pair of tickets. And let's go ahead and make a fun weekend out of that, right? June the 17th, Brown County Music Center. Shout out to Christian. America tickets for you right there. Caller number 9, you're going for free. Bob Lovell, Indiana Sports Talk, tonight at 9:30. Mike Wells, ESPN.com. Don Fischer, voice of the Hoosiers. 2 o'clock tomorrow. IU, Purdue, West Lafayette. Pregame coverage downstairs, 93 WIBC. Kyle, great job. Hey, you know what, you guys? YouTube Live, Facebook Live, callers, listeners, thank you very much for what you do, because you guys have been awesome for yet another week. Tomorrow night, 6 until midnight, the JMV Takeover with an 80s soundtrack request show after 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I'll tell you all about it tomorrow on B105.7. Last word with the Colts, Pacers after that, coming up.